My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. All right, it is 6:17 on June 17, 2025, and the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking. That is stalking and stalking me, following from place to place, and doing so by coming to the facilitating venue of Starbucks, which is the facilitating venue where the fake son is present at 6:17 a.m. And as you know, the fake son is also present where the same Corey Watson, 80548, who was subject to federal prison for kidnapping that he committed yesterday in 2022 under the fake son that was not over the OVITT Family Community Library at 1029. It was over 507 North Euclid Avenue, where he is gang stalking right now under a 6:17 a.m. fake son. And 3 hours from now, it's still at the same Starbucks where he's gang stalking now with knowledge of that documentation, bearing weapons, representing corrupt gang stalking law enforcement that was stalking last night as well after I left the library at OVITT Family Community Library, flying over me in the middle of the night, stalking, just like I document on an ongoing basis, and in the venue, obsessively monitoring in the engineered light all manner of a communication of a threat by this corrupt police department that is consumed with stalking someone that has exposed the fact that they're a bunch of demons who are stalkers. It's 6:19 a.m. This is relevant to what is impunity and Corey Watson. And this is an overweight Latina female with her hair pulled back. She's also wearing a law enforcement uniform, communicating a threat while she's gang stalking, bearing weapons, communicating a threat while she's gang stalking with a kidnapper, which is the Ontario Police Department and Corey Watson specifically.
This is in the specific environment. So I captured the fake sun. You'll see the engineer light on the bathroom wall on the inside of the cafe. The entity is keeping a fake sun rising and setting over me in Los Angeles, where LAPD is gang stalking just like the Ontario police is. And the entity is keeping the fake sun like you saw yesterday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the fake sun is still over this Starbucks. Because the sun doesn't take 6 hours to go from one side of the street to the opposite, and it certainly doesn't take 12 to be on one side of a building to be on the opposite, like I'm documenting Starbucks. That is gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, and in doing so, and being documented for it, are communicating an unlawful threat, which they will also be prosecuted for, including Corey Watson, a gang stalking kidnapper. All right, it is currently 6:20 a.m. The people of the state gang stalking as well, and it includes Penske truck using a commercial vehicle with regard to the elements of monitoring with Starbucks as I approach it, in addition to what is a third-party license. AJH 462. Again, that's 8 Apple Jack Henry 462. Gang stalker with the Ontario International Airport. That's gang stalking like the City of Ontario's gang stalking via the Ontario Police at the Starbucks, where the entity is amplifying plane activity as I'm in the parking lot, and the people of the state are pacing around in what is engineer light under an enduring fake sun that is exclusive to 507 North Euclid Avenue, in order to maintain the elements of monitoring, and it's also an identifying key in seeing where criminal monitoring is underway, which is targeting by the state. The entity that is targeting is engaged in a pattern of kidnapping, and you have the kidnappers that are inside of the cafe obsessively monitoring. This is the same thing they do with helicopter after you document, and then they fly over your head by helicopter, so the demons come in and partake in coffee. With regard to what is engaging in gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, who enter in the venue in the same exact impossible light that you see flying across the wall, the ceilings, that you see manifesting my shadow in the shade. This is the environment where the Ontario Police are coming in and directly engaging in monitoring, pursuant to, again, knowledge of their being documented, knowledge of the people of the state being documented, and coming in and communicating a threat as you would analyze any stalker, okay? It is currently 6:21 a.m. This is P.O.C. at 507 North Euclid Avenue. The people of the state gang stalking working at the Starbucks are subject to federal prison. They're gang stalking, and this is the entity engaging in that public corruption. The entity is not free to engage in criminal monitoring. The government is certainly not free to engage in criminal monitoring. And when that criminal system has been exposed, the entity engaging in what is communicating unlawful threat by engaging in it right in front of your face, especially while you're documenting it, it is not proven to be harmless conduct. This is exactly what results in kidnapping. It's exactly what results in ongoing psychological torture and harassment, especially why the entity is stalking you day and night in helicopters and in vehicles and kidnapping you in concert with the people of the state who are raging psychopaths stalking you under a fake sun with impossible light and amplified audible activity. And then entering in, exhibiting severe mental illness like the Ontario Police do, stalking with their backs to you while they're across the street under the 11:54 a.m. fake sun, while they're gang stalking under the 6:18 p.m. fake sun at the same venue in helicopter, pacing around on the streets with the same demon-possessed entity, the people of the state, who are maintaining impossible light while they cross paths obsessively all day long, stalking, because it's not traffic in that specific environment. It's currently 6:23 a.m. and this is relevant to, again, Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, who are subject to federal prison for gang stalking, just like the Starbucks personnel for gang stalking with a corrupt law enforcement agency that masquerades as a legitimate one, that's not engaged in criminal surveillance, that's not engaged in gang stalking, that is engaged in legitimate law enforcement as opposed to monitoring like demons. It is currently 6:23 a.m. This is P.O.C.
Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes, and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state.
Alrighty, it is currently, by the way, 6:33 a.m. and here is the fake sun. The entity is maintaining this fake sun in alignment with Tracy Banks' apartment at the same time as I documented, while she is inside of the unit, while the people of the state are gang stalking at Woodside Senior Apartments. And I'm also maintaining documentation at this time of year where the entity is maintaining the specific environment, which is supernatural. This is crossing path under a fake sun with the Ontario Police. 9JZY758, and that's Title 18. They're driving an engineer light, they're monitoring together, they're pacing. And remember, I'm documenting the fake sun on the opposite side of this building in the evening. This is criminal monitoring, and the Ontario Police are gang stalking, and it's 6:33 a.m. The fake sun is at the same exact time, reflecting off of the windows of Woodside Senior Apartments, when I'm nowhere near Woodside Senior Apartments, as my documentation has been showing. And I'm also deviating from remaining there all day long, where the entity kept, meaning rising at 6:33, 6:17 a.m. and setting at 6:18 p.m., 6:27 p.m., where the Ontario Police, like they are at Starbucks, are stalking in the path. And they're obviously stalking by going in, buying a beverage, loitering in relevant position in the engineer light, in the cafe, while the fake sun is aimed in alignment to me. And the people of the state are engaged in the same terrorism and harassment and psychological torture, while engineer light that you see stationary is flying in the air and all over the walls inside of that venue, which is the Ontario Police, who are also aware that they're being documented, coming in and engaging in the P.O.C. right in your face, which is an unlawful threat by the police that are engaged in criminal surveillance. Corey Watson, badge number 80548, a kidnapper, is engaging in this. License 1706919, vehicle 1129. License 1697700, vehicle 1122. Stalking in the path with light activity. This is the demonic pattern in the specific environment. Way crossing path as I move, getting into the drive-through. These are demons, and they're acting in sync with the police, who are on the grounds gang stalking. And the fake sun is at 6:33 a.m. Remember that C. Torres is gang stalking under the fake sun at 2:47 p.m. while it's still at this same address at 507 North Euclid Avenue. Remember that the Ontario Fire Department are gang stalking under this fake sun that's still at this address. 7 MAM 913 is gang stalking with the Ontario Police, and that's a basis of federal prison. The Ontario International Airport is gang stalking as I'm walking out of this venue at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where the entity is maintaining the fake sun that you see at 6:33 a.m. And the Ontario Police Department, aware of the documentation that's published online, pursuant to criminal monitoring and repeated acts of kidnapping, and acting in sync with demons engaging in fraudulent marriages with me, like Jason Isaac Fields, who is gang stalking with the Ontario Police, incentivizing their repeated acts of criminal defamation and gang stalking, and also engaging in what is gang stalking targeting with Tracy Banks, where the sun is not remaining over. This specific environment is not something that you're disregarding. It's a direct, clear indicator regarding where surveillance, who is being targeted, and it's a demonic system. Not only are Corey Watson and the Ontario Police gang stalking, they're doing so with regard to the intent to obstruct justice and harass, while they know that they're being documented. This is a psychopath under the 6:33 a.m. fake sun. He's here inside of the cafe when it's over the same venue 3 hours later at 9:17. Don't forget that. This is a psychopath, passive aggressive, and that's why he's smiling. 80548, there's nothing funny about engaging in kidnapping, nothing funny about engaging in bathroom monitoring a woman's vagina, stalking her while you're bearing weapons. This is a psychopath who knows that he's been documented, and he's in here being a demon, stalking under a fake sun with the demons who you've seen with the tornadoes of light inside of here, engaging in federal stalking. And a psychopath looking to the left and the right. Her license plate is HCQS557, gang stalking with the same Ontario Police under a fake sun, where LAPD is engaging in the same pattern of conduct. The sun doesn't take 6 hours to cross the street, and the sun does not cause light to appear on the inside of this building like it is on the floors, where the people of the state are driving by and engineer light swipes on the inside. Corey Watson is gang stalking, and doing so with demons that engage in what is kidnapping, like the Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. This is P.O.C. That's P.O.C. That's not sunlight. This is stalking with light, where the police are in the venue having committed repeated kidnappings and are monitoring. And this is stationary light. And this is the entity gang stalking. He's at 9:17 a.m. and so is the Ontario Police at 2:47 p.m. The Ontario Police gang stalking by helicopter as late as 6:18 p.m. flying over me, also clearly seen to be targeting. Psychopaths that engage in targeting you and not addressing you is nothing other than the malice of the P.O.C. He is going to federal prison. And the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking with the Starbucks employees. That's audible activity. And engineer light. Remember, after 6 p.m., their ceiling is filled with engineer light. Their shadows are appearing on the wall over here, and the same impossible light activity is present. where it is not sunlight when the fake sun is remaining for 12 hours. All right, this is the specific environment of the Ontario Police showing you their demon possession. This is P.O.C. Bearing weapons, bearing badges, representing law enforcement that's engaged in criminal monitoring is based as a federal prison. All right, that's P.O.C. Psychopaths laugh and still haven't found a pick for your hair, but you're gang stalking and you're on video gang stalking and you find funny right now what's not going to be funny in court. This is P.O.C. These are demons in a specific environment and you're not disregarding the specific environment no matter how much they laugh and act as though they're not concerned about you. The specific environment directly rebuts that. And the entity is engaging in that P.O.C. with impunity and malice. It's currently 6:38 a.m. This is P.O.C. This is engineer light on the inside of the building. This is absolutely impossible to appear as well. It's on the inside, there's a covering. The fake sun is outside and it remains over the building for 12 hours. This is P.O.C. for monitoring, reaching into the depths while demons are laughing and chit-chatting like they're not here monitoring you. That's exactly the pattern of conduct by the people of the state. P.O.C. All right, the people of the state, you are looking at them engaging in the same exact criminal conduct that Corey Watson and the female that is accompanying him. This is the Ontario Police directly engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring themselves, as opposed to them engaging it themselves and through the vicarious stalking presence of the people of the state. And that stalking presence is punctuated and proven through the maintenance of a fake sun over the venue. And the Ontario Police, under that fake sun, came inside of the venue and engaged in the same exact criminal conduct that the people of the state are maintaining under the fake sun that remains for 12 hours. This is what Corey Watson, a kidnapper, and the female that is with him are engaging in under the fake sun as I'm capturing it on video and in images. And at the same time, I'll remind you about the fake sun is remaining at what is Woodside Senior Apartments at the same time at Tracy Banks' apartment when the people of the state are gang stalking under that fake sun that remains there from sunrise until sunset. This is where the Ontario Police are engaging in the pattern of conduct and doing so with the intent to threaten while they are aware of the documentation exposing in order to prosecute them in the state of California, the people of the state. And all they do is walk out of the building. The Ontario Police is still engaged in criminal surveillance. The Ontario Police are still engaged in psychological torture. They're still engaged in bathroom monitoring. They're still engaged in ongoing harassment. And they're doing so through the demon-possessed, who are the same entity that just don't wear Ontario Police Department badges and carry guns, representing that gang stalking police department. The City of Ontario is gang stalking. And they're doing so pursuant to real-time surveillance of everything that I'm doing on my communication device and physically. For example, as I document the gang of demons at the opposite end of the cafe under the same exact fake sun that doesn't go anywhere. An hour later, it's still at the same vantage point and it's in alignment to me, my person, the side of the cafe where I'm at. And they are stalking in the path while engineer light is on the ground on the inside of the cafe. And the entity is maintaining engineer light so that my shadow is upright on the chairs on the inside of the wall on here. And the people of the state are pacing all day long, stalking all day long, and this is punctuated with the presence of the fake sun, but you also know that because impossible light is moving all about on the inside of the building while they are pacing, stalking on behalf of the Ontario Police, who walked in to engage in stalking in my face to communicate an unlawful threat and strictly relevant to how long kidnappers like Corey Watson and his female partner are going to federal prison. Gang stalking police officers, that's exactly where they're going. And gang stalking me with demons like Jason Isaac Fields, who have accomplished maintaining a fake marriage, fraudulently maintained, while I'm being gang stalked and subject to systematic kidnapping by this police department, which Jason Isaac Fields is profiting from, while he's engaged in a sexual relationship with my mother, Tracy Banks, the gang stalking a third party that engaged in kidnapping with this same department. And they're engaging in what is maintaining a fraudulently acquired conservatorship and a fraudulently acquired marriage, while the entity via defamation is accomplishing this while gang stalking me and repeatedly kidnapping. The people of the state are engaging in the bidding of the Ontario Police by maintaining presence, and this is what you'll see in the images. As I begin to capture screenshots just to give you a vivid illustration of what you're looking at, merely the maintenance of presence, one body after another, one body after another, one body after another, with ongoing impossible light activity. The demons communicating a threat, while impossible light, like lightning flashes as they open and close the doors, pursuant to what they know that I'm documenting. That's pursuant to knowledge. It's the same thing when they're driving by and impossible light is sweeping all through in tornadoes of lights pursuant to knowledge, because they're all engaged in federal stalking, and so is the Ontario Police, so is Corey Watson. The entity is engaging in what is criminal summoning, and this is what you'll see as I'm capturing screen images so that you're recognizing the Ontario police that are sitting in the cafe are engaging in the same criminal elements as the people of the state sitting in the cafe and working in the cafe. That is when I'm isolating it to the inside, where they're stalking me on the inside, pacing all around with impossible light. The entity is doing so under the fake sun that you'll see an hour later is at the same location in alignment to me on the side of the cafe where I'm seated, and this is the same environment that it's remaining at. Where I am walking out, and you're seeing it over the top of my head at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see it at 6. And I'm documenting that pattern of conduct while the entity is maintaining presence. Maintaining presence is stalking by a police department that's engaging in surveillance vicariously in a demonic system that is gang stalking. And it is occurring at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where Corey Watson foolishly walks in on video, and that's a communication of a threat. And the Ontario Fire Department that's engaged in criminal monitoring as well, pursuant to the pattern of conduct of surveillance on my communication device, the moment that I take damning screenshots, which remind you about who the people of the state are gang stalking with, which is the City of Ontario, the kidnappers, the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department, which is Michael Gerken's engagement in federal stalking under Title 18, engaging in what is psychological torture with these demons, engaging in what is stalking me with these demons, engaging in what is stalking me in the bathroom with these demons, engaging in what is psychologically torturing me with these demons, engaging in what is harassing and terrorizing me with these demons. While I am capturing these demons on my device, the Ontario Fire Department is pacing under the fake sun on Euclid Avenue, at which point they sound their sirens. That's criminal summoning while a demon is on the inside walking under the fake sun, and their shadow is appearing on the opposite side of the wall so that they can engage in systematic light activity creation. In concert with the demons on Euclid Avenue that are pacing, creating light activity. In concert with the demons of the Ontario Fire Department who are pacing under the fake sun outside, creating light activity using a fire truck pursuant to surveillance. And this is what Corey Watson walks in, participating in, communicating a threat. All right, the entity is engaging in this P.O.C. and there's nothing friendly. There is nothing that is rehabilitating. This demon is literally under the fake sun, 3-hour difference at 9:17 a.m. and I'm documenting him during the 6 a.m. hour under the fake sun, 6:33 and 9:16 a.m., 9:18 a.m. That's a supernatural, that's the P.O.C. right there. The fake sun doesn't go anywhere and it remains in alignment to me, while this demon is on one day in shorts and another day in his uniform bearing guns and a badge and having committed kidnapping, and both are an unlawful threat posed by the entity while they're still gang stalking. It's not like the entity is engaging in, we're not targeting you anymore, we're not stalking, we're not monitoring, we're not engaging in this, and it's still an unlawful threat because you're not engaging in what is the provision of justice outside of a court. You're not negotiating with the terrorist that's conspiring to murder and kidnap you. But it is to be stated that the entity is doing this and they're still gang stalking at the same time. And it is a very highly unintelligent and unpersuasive and a highly threatening method of what is wanting to stalk me in my presence. And there's nothing that's going to incentivize compromising whatsoever. Jason Isaac Fields is going to federal prison for engaging in what is gang stalking, and his admission in gang stalking, as opposed to, in addition to my documentation of him, I have documentation about his name and identification because he was targeting me by virtue of my being in contact with him. In addition to that, this demon has acquired a secret marriage to me while I'm being gang stalked and kidnapped, and while he's defaming me and stealing property that he still is maintaining ownership and control over. He has not turned over. He is not engaging in what is aiding and reporting the government that he's gang stalking me with. He's engaging in that pattern of conduct, and the government is engaging in what is communicating threats like they are coming into the venue, stalking me directly while I'm documenting this sex offender, this gang stalker, this terrorist, Jason Isaac Fields, who acquired a fraudulent marriage with me while with the purpose of my being murdered and kidnapped and defamed by the system of gang stalking as well, in order for him to profit, in order for his sex partner Tracy Banks to profit while she maintains a criminally acquired conservatorship, secretly of course, without my knowledge, without my participation, without my involvement, without my consent, without my acknowledgement. I know nothing about this. They have not admitted any of this, and they're gang stalking, as you can see the kidnapping that Tracy Banks is engaging in on May 29th. And this is on behalf of her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields, who was maintaining a fake marriage with me on paper so that he is engaging in what is profiting from my demise, defaming my character, and then stealing and maintaining control over property that belongs to me while I am sleeping outside, while I'm being gang stalked by the entity that Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks, the people of the state, are still engaging in, as the P.O.C. is demonstrating today, right now. Okay, so it's 7:48 a.m., 7:49. In the natural environment, the natural environment would not include the sun still being in the same location where it was, where Corey Watson and his partner of the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking inside of the cafe, and they're gang stalking in concert with the population that is entering in, engaging in the same elements of monitoring by virtue of just buying a drink and walking in and out, buying a drink, loitering in relevant position, engaging in that criminal pattern of conduct, while light flashes all over the floor and the walls while they enter, okay? So I want to document the same female I documented yesterday engaging in the pattern of conduct. It is her license plate, she's driving the truck, and she enters in engaging in the P.O.C. again, and the demons engage in it. That's a basis of federal prison. Just want to be clear. She's engaged in psychological torture. She's engaged in harassment. She's engaged in the specific pattern of conduct with the Ontario Police. She enters into the venue, buying a drink, enters in and out, and the impossible light flashes all over the walls and all over the floors while she's gang stalking. Let me show you this right now. All right, these are the cowards that are gang stalking with Starbucks, and they're gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. In the natural environment, the sun is not going to still be in the same position where it was, where Corey Watson and the Ontario Police are gang stalking. And when you open and close the doors, light doesn't flash on the inside of a building, and also your shadow doesn't appear in the shade. This is a demon, and she's a gang stalker, and she's participating in domestic terrorism and psychological torture, harassment on behalf of Starbucks, the corporation, and the city of Ontario. That's a basis of federal prison, by the way, 48723K3, and she's sharing in what the population is doing, and that's why the fake sun is still here, like I documented upon my exit of this venue, where it's at the top of my head, as though the sun takes 6 hours to cross the street, where it remains, because you know when I stay at Starbucks, it stays here. That's how I have it on video, and the population is stalking while they're stalking with impossible light that appears inside of the venue, and the entity is maintaining the fake sun at 6 p.m. where it's over the same entranceway. The entities engaging in terrorism and psychological torture together, stalking me and engaging what is terrorism with impossible light. This impossible light, where it creates your shadow on the inside, where they're stalking with impossible light on the inside of the building as well. Where you see my shadow on the outside, and they're stalking with impossible light on the inside. The entity is engaging in surveillance. This fake sun is the identification of where targeting is underway, who is being targeted, and I am the one that has the fake sun over me, where LAPD is sharing in the same exact pattern of conduct from sunrise until sunset over my apartment. And the people of the state are exhibiting demon possession while they're gang stalking, and Corey Watson participated in gang stalking and is doing so with the entire Ontario Police Department and the people of the state. As you are also aware, their pattern of conduct of stalking with light and in the path is ongoing at nightfall as well. Where they're exhibiting their demon possession is not a secret, and their criminal engagement and gang stalking with the city of Ontario, which is the state of California. The population is doing the exact same thing that demon is doing, coming in while impossible light is outside. They're monitoring, and they're coming in, and flashing of light is occurring on the inside, which is impossible light activity, and the volume of light, the amplification of light, if you will, changes. All right, that's the entity engages in more concentrated light, just like you see with multiple shadows, where I have multiple shadows and they vary in concentration. That's impossible light, and it's based on what it is, the entity that's threatening and harassing you. That's impossible light under all circumstances. In addition, it's flat on the ground outside and flat on the ground inside. This is stalking with light conduct pursuant to monitoring. They're all engaged in federal stalking, and they're doing the exact same thing that Corey Watson and his partner were doing, sitting in the cafe, stalking in the path, stalking with light activity as a population. And they're doing so while the fake sun remains on this side of the cafe in alignment to me, and they're all stalking as an entity. This is P.O.C. This one engaging in criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department the moment that he's crossing path, and their shadows while they're walking in gang stalking. Their shadows are reaching all across the room in order to monitor. This is light activity while I'm seated here, and they're engaged in targeting. All manner of targeting identified through the impossible light, the maintenance of a fake sun, and the gang stalking conduct of the government itself, the Ontario Fire Department, the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Police Department, who walked in foolishly providing evidence against the people of the state, who are going to be prosecuted directly and vicariously. It is currently 7:53 a.m. This is P.O.C. The entity keeping the fake sun until 7:26 p.m. at this same venue. P.O.C. All right, the video you just listened to of the third party that is gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, engaging in the same exact conduct. So when you're understanding gang stalking, you're talking about multiple bodies that are maintaining presence around, which is stalking as a group in an environment that is engineered for monitoring, and monitoring is demonic, and monitoring is happening on communication devices. It's also happening on the internet, and it's happening where what I'm documenting in relevant position where the group is stalking as I remain at Starbucks and stalking as I go from place to place. As you remain, it's called surveillance. As you follow, it's called stalking. And as the government does that without any warrant or probable cause, it is domestic terrorism as the police department, in concert with the population, practices this, and it's exposing their condition. These are the demon-possessed practicing this gang stalking. It is shown and highlighted, underscored, punctuated, where this demon, in this video that you just listened to, she is, and let me give you that license plate again, what you just listened to, under the 7:50 a.m. fake sun, impossible light activity, more concentrated than that which I documented on the video. I did exactly the same thing that she did, open and closing the door. They're not levitating through it. They're not dropping through the ceiling of the building. They're opening and closing the doors, and that which is impossible to occur at any time, regardless of the vantage point, fake sun or not. Understand the fake sun is showing you who is being targeted, that's myself, and showing you who they're targeting, that's myself, and they being the everybody that's around. And gang stalking exceeds the immediate venue, obviously, because when I'm in an entirely different location, the fake sun, which is how you know that this is the natural environment, and this is how you're witnessing psychopaths who are engaging in what is supposed to be an unsuspicious pattern of conduct that you're never supposed to recognize, they are under what is necessarily a fake sun that is at the same time, at this time of year, last year, when I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, at 5845 Dean Martin Drive, that is a Courtyard by Marriott in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I also documented my travels from California on the freeway where the entity kept that fake sun, as I documented in images and substantial video. That was August 5th, 2024 and August 6th, 2024. And on August 6th, 2024, as I wake up in Las Vegas, Nevada, not in California, where the sun would not be over me, where Corey Watson is gang stalking inside of this Starbucks at 6:33 a.m., where it remains in perfect alignment. That which is at 6:33 a.m. and is remaining at 7:50 a.m. is not in Las Vegas over the Courtyard by Marriott, while I am remaining in California, and I'm documenting the fake sun remaining over me as I wake up, walk from the TABOR Professional Building, walk to in Ontario in less than 0.8 miles, less than a mile, where the entity is still keeping this fake sun, by the way, meaning it's not moving, at 7:26 p.m., which I also documented at this same venue where the Ontario police, a documented kidnapper, Corey Watson, is gang stalking me in the same manner that this demon with this license plate at 7:50 a.m., where the fake sun remains for her criminal engagement in gang stalking me with the Ontario Police Department in the specific environment with the intent to harass and terrorize and psychologically torture, with knowledge by the fact that she was already documented engaging in what is terrorizing me. And this demon repeats the pattern of conduct in concert with the population, in concert with the police department that are still stalking, and so are the people of the state, evident by a fake sun that is not a natural environment, maintaining the sun in the same position over me in Las Vegas, Nevada, at 5845 Dean Martin Drive at the Courtyard by Marriott, where, by the way, on August 6th, which is relevant to the same time of year. So the entity has the fake sun as I exit my hotel at 12:08 p.m. It's over the top of my head. But you already know that 11:54 a.m. the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking, while those psychopaths who are stalking me and monitoring my vagina are stalking at the Chevron in alignment, like they're doing inside of the cafe in alignment, surrounding under a fake sun that's still at the same Starbucks, like what is documented on June 4th, 2025. But on August 6th, 2024, same time of year, the fake sun is remaining over the Courtyard by Marriott as I'm documenting it from 7:49 a.m. to 12:08 p.m. at the point of checkout from Las Vegas, Nevada's Courtyard by Marriott on Dean Martin Drive. This is where the demons at work at Starbucks are engaging in stalking with audible activity that you hear, in concert with the demons that are pacing inside of the cafe and engineered light. Also, while they enter in and out like you see on video with impossible light activity, admitting to engaging in what is stalking and being demons, and doing so on behalf of the Ontario Police Department, who have kidnappers that are coming into the cafe to communicate an unlawful threat, and they are all sharing in what is mental illness, while their demon possession is what inspires and enables their ability to simultaneously stalk with noise and simultaneously stalk with light activity that is supernaturally occurring. Because when you open and close the door, sunlight, especially while the sun is in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is why you document Satan, it's not going to create any sort of light activity that's anywhere in Ontario while it's in Las Vegas, by the way. But it's the sun. Remember, in this video at 7:50, the people of the state with license plate. Let me get this demon's license plate again. It is I am reviewing the video. Let me get this license plate in real time. And I documented her on June 16, 2025 as well, engaging in the same acts of terrorism. Her license plate is 48723K3, and this is the entity. You're not an individual, you are the entity. And this is Ontario Police engaging in what is one occurrence of documenting the supernatural where gang stalking is underway. But I have more than just this one demon-possessed gang stalker that represents what the civilian population is doing in Ontario at Starbucks that does not share any natural environment where the sun is at the same time over me, where the city of Las Vegas in the state of Nevada is gang stalking, evident through a supernatural environment, including the sun being over me at 7:49 a.m. While I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's still there at the zenith, in its zenith over the top of my head as I walk out of that hotel at 12:08 p.m. on the same day. This is where demons are very highly unintelligent and unpersuasive, while they just merely maintain smiles on their faces and come in holding hands and shaking hands and laughing and chit-chatting and buying drinks over coffee, and they're gang stalking. These are the psychopaths who are gang stalking, and they're doing that while engineer light is flying all about inside of the building, while the Ontario Police are engaging in what is stalking in helicopter, a terrorizing environment, a harassing environment, while they are plastered with smiles on their face as though it's not happening. This is the evidence that's going to serve to diagnose the people of the state, as opposed to them under any circumstances appearing as normal human beings who are minding their business, and that's impossible in the engineer light. It's also impossible when the government is gang stalking in the same manner at the same location under the same circumstances, and it's also impossible when they have already shown their hand with regard to stalking and harassing and pursuing with supernatural means intended to psychologically harm and harass, which is the stalking with light and stalk with amplified audible activity, which is designed to monitor you. They're all engaged in federal stalking, and this is criminal conduct by Starbucks, the corporation, and Starbucks' employees are also going to be prosecuted. You are seeing them gang stalking with Corey Watson and his partner in the cafe where the fake sun remains and those demons depart. Those demons are maintaining criminal presence by the people of the state that are inside of the cafe. All right, so they're pacing at the window where the fake sun is remaining in alignment to me. Their shadows are light activity. They're doing so pursuant to what is federal stalking, and they're doing so with impunity and malice. And they also do so when my vagina is exposed in the bathroom, and they're obsessively pacing around under those circumstances as well. Those are the sex offenders who keep smiles on their faces when they're under a fake sun, gang stalking, engaging in domestic terrorism, and psychological torture, which is psychopathic and maniacal conduct that Tracy Banks participated in as well under this fake sun that cannot be possibly in a natural environment. Remember, this is the supernatural environment where gang stalking is underway, surveillance pursuant to criminal monitoring by the kidnappers who are the people of the state. And again, license 48723K3 is stalking in the path, and it's stalking with impossible light activity, which I captured on video. And that light activity varies in concentration, and it is replicated hundreds of times while the people of the state pace in and out of this cafe, gang stalking me all day long. It is currently the video that you will see the fake sun in Las Vegas at the same time, where the entity kept the fake sun over me, which is why I documented it. Because I drive to Las Vegas, Nevada, and the fake sun remains over me the whole time. Nevada State Police are gang stalking. The Metropolitan Las Vegas Police Department are gang stalking while the fake sun is maintained over me in Nevada. So with that documentation, the question is, what sun is in Nevada if the one sun remained over me en route from California to Nevada? Because that's what I documented, coming from Arcadia, where the fake sun remained over my hotel room. It remained over my vehicle as I got on the 15 freeway to the 215 to get to Las Vegas, Nevada. The entity maintained that fake sun over me from Nevada, also on the freeway, back into the state of California, which is, again, what is remaining in Nevada if that's the sun that's remaining, which I documented. The entity is engaging in what is, again, unscientific, it's illogical, it's asinine, and it's, in other words, for purposes of prosecution, for purpose of recognizing mental illness of the entity and the malice of the government, very, very obvious criminal engagement in gang stalking, which is demonic. All right, the entity is maintaining this light source in the video that you will see, which you compare what the people of the state are doing at Starbucks and what this demon is doing with regard to terrorism, stalking with light and stalking in the path on behalf of the Ontario Police. Every single body that is working and coming into the path by gang stalking while I remain here, it's engaging in the exact same thing, and that's the entity that's subject to federal prison and civil and criminal prosecution, in other words. The video I'm referring to again is August 6, 2024 at 7:49 and 32 seconds. And the entity is maintaining this environment with regard to criminal monitoring. And this is the environment that Corey Watson, which is representing the entire Ontario Police Department, that is just on video gang stalking, flying over me again on another night where they are gang stalking me at nightfall. And then those demons walk in with merely smiles on their faces and their phones to their face while they're gang stalking like psychopaths. And this is the entity that will be subject to what is disbanding, and the people of the state are going to federal prison right along with the Ontario Police Department. Though all those demons that are gang stalking, as I document that department, the entity is engaging in that, and it is documented on the video of the internet, and I will include the video where the entity is keeping this fake son at the same time of year. I'm going to go ahead and include that in the podcast because I want you to listen to what it is that I'm documenting in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the entity, the two states, this is also implicating federal law. This is under all circumstances a federal case against the government and a federal case against the entity that will be divided into individuals who will be subject to a prosecution for terrorism while targeting an American citizen in furtherance of murder and kidnapping. And that includes Jason Isaac Fields, who has maintained a fake marriage to a targeted individual in an effort to steal from me, and in furtherance of anticipating murder and kidnapping via defamation, which is the purpose of gang stalking. And it's the same with Tracy Banks, who walked into this cafe terrorizing in the same exact manner with impossible light, aware the documentation came with that malicious and psychopathic desire to participate in it just to be documented like the high school graduate that she is. Not bright, neither are any of the people of the state under the fake sun and in the engineered light. All of this evidence is not forgotten when they are prosecuted, and there is no basis and there is no reasonable basis, no actual or reasonable basis to disregard any of the evidence when the entity has shown its entirety of that pattern of conduct and its engagement in it with impunity and malice. Tracy Banks is in this same venue gang stalking, maintaining a criminal means through fraud and by gang stalking and defamation, a conservatorship that I was never told anything about, that she has secretly been maintaining with her sex partner, who maintains a fraudulently and criminally procured secret fake marriage that I never participated in, never consented to. While she's having sex with him, he's engaged in a fake marriage with me, and they're both engaging in what is seeking to steal from me while the state of California aids in that endeavor. And this is what incentivizes targeting by a police department that engages in kidnapping, while the entity is engaging in what is gang stalking with those demons who are the people of the state as well. This is how all of those relevant facts are connected, and it's all going down to the demons that are sitting inside of 507 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is sitting until the end of the day, as my documentation shows. At 7:50 a.m. on the same sidewalk yesterday, I'm walking out during the 1 p.m. In the afternoon after 1 p.m. and the entity has the fake sun over the same sidewalk, where the entity is maintaining the exact same circumstances of what is a fake sun, and doing so in a manner that is designed to monitor. And that monitoring system is underscored and proven through the maintenance of a supernatural occurrence, that is the sun remaining over me from the beginning until the end of the day. At 1:13 p.m. on the same sidewalk, where that third party is gang stalking at 7:50 a.m., where the entity is keeping the fake sun. That duration of time right there, in addition to Corey Watson, 6:33 a.m. until 9:16, and that's 3 hours, and the sun is sitting at the same location in alignment to me. All these demons come in and out, the sun doesn't move. And when they're leaving, there's not more than one sun where they're looking at where they drive to Los Angeles, and the sun remains in perfect alignment with everybody driving in every direction from the beginning to the end of the day. These demons are surrounded with an asinine and satanic pattern of conduct. And they are psychopaths while they do so, having no other way to engage in it, showing their obsession with gang stalking me and their obsession with my genitalia that they're also keeping under surveillance in the bathroom. It is currently 9:31 a.m. I will include that video documentation for you to listen to the evidence of the fake sun over me at the same time that it is today at 7:50 a.m. This is P.O.C. Shadow in front and behind. This is group stalking. Shadow also on the wall. This is group stalking. Pay attention to the shadow activity. That's impossible light activity. This is all relevant positioning inside of the hotel. They're all group stalking. $7:50 a.m. Starting this video at 7:49 a.m. I want you to see the sunrise, which is not in perfect alignment with my hotel room in Arcadia, California, in front of the hotel where I'm opening my front door. And I showed you yesterday on August 5th, 2024 in the state of California, where I'm opening my front door, and you can see on the first floor of room 130 the light source. This is not the sun. That's in perfect alignment with me in the state of Nevada. This is the Courtyard by Marriott, and this is called Crossing a Path, and that's engineered light. License plate 534ZPP is group stalking, and so is Fairfield by Marriott. You'll see the still images that I captured. The people of the state using the blue truck as a method of light activity. They have their hazards on. The third parties, the Latino, the dual males, the dual couple of males in the white truck. First of all, they were group stalking. They were pacing in front of my room where the entity was concentrating activity. Those are demons that were pacing, monitoring me in perfect alignment with my location inside of my room that's on the second floor inside of this venue, a third-party facilitating venue where the sun is not possibly in perfect alignment with the hotel room in Arcadia, California, such that the sun is in perfect alignment with me in two different states at the same time, creating any sort of light activity that's going to create light coming toward my way on the black asphalt while you're driving a vehicle. That's not sunlight, and this is also not the sun. So it is currently, again, 7:51 a.m. This is Courtyard by Marriott in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the entity is maintaining a light source in alignment to me. This is where, again, the prosecution of the state of Nevada includes the affirmative act, the intent to obstruct justice, to engage in a criminal act of intimidation, harassment, and terrorism by a demon-possessed and corrupt agency. That is the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. The head of that corrupt department is Kevin McMahal, and I want to be clear, his condition and his criminal engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring is known by that criminal act, documented via podcast and on video, where the entity is engaged in criminal surveillance and federal stalking, and then is exercising fictitious authority under the doctrine of reasonable suspicion, which does not exist when the entity is a criminal engaging in state surveillance. The entity is engaged in group stalking. The evidence of the specific environment is revealing that. The evidence of group stalking is also based on the criminal conduct and the demonic behaviors of the population, the people of the state, and this is what is establishing the criminal system upon my arrival to Nevada. And then you have Lassiter 190210, if I recollect correctly, who's going to federal prison. Him and five other officers affiliated with Metro PD are all going to federal prison, and this is the basis for permanent removal for corrupt and demon-possessed leaders such as Kevin McMahal. The entity is amplifying all night, amplifying helicopter activity while I was inside of this hotel room. That's P.O.C. It's terrorism. The employees at Courtyard by Marriott, who do not share any sky space with the Courtyard by Marriott in Sherman Oaks, by the way. The entity's keeping a fake sun over me at that venue, as I documented on video in Sherman Oaks at 10:33 in the morning. This is where the entity's keeping a fake sun. I arrived in Las Vegas. I want to be clear. Mandalay Bay. I'm in this location yesterday evening after 5 p.m. and the fake sun is over in alignment with me every street that I'm turning. It is 7:53 in the morning. This is evidence that the entity, again, the unintelligent conduct of nothing other than wicked stalkers. Satan is not intelligent. Satan is just desperate. Satan engages in group stalking by any and everyone, and you're going to sue commercial actors who are engaging in a sex offense while keeping you under surveillance inside of a private space. That's the significance of maintaining relevant positioning, light activity through traffic, all right, through amplified audible activity, stalking in the sky space, stalking by planes, just like you saw last night, and what is always underway, the Harvey airport. Let me be clear, the federal government is fully apprised of the way that the federal prosecutions in the state will go, and it will include being visited by the federal government, this corrupt entity that's a state actor, the Harvey airport, engaging in what is the use of commercial airline planes, and every single airline is engaged in federal stalking and criminal surveillance, using commercial airline planes relevant for what is criminal surveillance and psychological torture, stalking from place to place, using planes in order to keep one under surveillance in violation of your constitutional and human rights, doing so in concert with the demon-possessed group stalking people of the state who use what they have at their disposal, including their presence, okay? The entity is maintaining this light source while I arrived here, and I'm capturing Mandalay Bay yesterday after 5 p.m. I'm still looking at Mandalay Bay. The sun is not going to be over you at the same venue. In addition, the sun is not rising at the same time at Arcadia Motel 6, and while this demon is crossing paths with engineer light on the ground. 152ZJX is acting with impunity. Well, that's the basis of federal prison right there. This is what the population is doing on an ongoing basis, and I want you to see the light source through the windshield and on the ceiling. They're going to federal prison. That's Uber also. That's impossible light activity on the ground. This is what the entity is doing. That's what you saw at in Costa Mesa. At Best Western, engineer light while the people of the state, strangers that you don't need to know their name, and that's a prosecution of what Kevin McMahal and the demons of the Metro Police Department are engaging in. These are the people of the state who are group stalking and monitoring and engaged in federal stalking while they engage in an unlawful, a criminal act as though they have reasonable suspicion when they're monitoring you and group stalking you. Sunlight doesn't ricochet off the top of your car and create that light activity. They're all monitoring. Light activity on the ground, demons getting in the vehicle, and that's Uber. Uber is a third party in California, and Uber is a third party in Nevada, and I'm going to sue them. That's P.O.C. Courtyard at Marriott is going to be sued as well because this criminal conduct is occurring on their watch. And this is demonic pacing on this side and on this side. Engineer Light and the fake sun, that's not in Arcadia. That's a light source, and that's P.O.C. That's a light source. You can see it through the windshield. It's not in Arcadia. It's right here over me in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, this is P.O.C. I'm going to capture screenshots just so you can see a vivid illustration of that. You're going to look at 2 videos that will compare that crime scene, which is speaking to the unnatural environment, the specific environment where corrupt police departments such as the state of Nevada State Police, the state of Nevada CHP, the state of Nevada Metropolitan Police Department. These are the entities, as you saw, the sex offender, the community ambulance. Sex offenders who are consumed with what's going on with my genitalia, which is the sexual violence that the entity that's group stalking is engaging in. And they will be, the state of Nevada is going to be prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring. All right, using commercial actors such as Uber, such as commercial actors such as Fairfield by Marriott, commercial actors such as Courtyard by Marriott. As you saw, the entity is keeping a fake sun over the Courtyard by Marriott in Sherman Oaks, California. And there surely is no shared sky space. And this is not going to be over the entrance of Sherman Oaks at Orion and Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, California, while it's rising in alignment to my hotel room, my placement at this venue in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's not the sun, nor is the sun maintaining ubiquitous presence over all of us in all of the states for the duration of the day, like the entity is being documented as showing it. It is highly unintelligent. It's speaking to what is demonic methods of stalking. The state of Nevada is fully engaged in criminal surveillance. You don't have any reasonable suspicion or probable cause. Not only that, they know exactly who I am. They used a paper plate on my vehicle as an invalid basis to pull me over, which is a threat to my life, while they're bearing weapons in group stalking, while they're bearing weapons engaged in federal stalking, and doing so while they are hostile because of the documentation that they are very much aware of that I'm capturing in the state of Nevada. They're all going to federal prison for that, besides the fact that they're a corrupt police department who are engaged in criminal summoning and engaging in what is the exercise of fictitious authority that you don't have. Any government actor engaging in that is the basis of federal prison, period. All 5 of them, including their supervisor, they're all going to federal prison. And Kevin McMahon shall be removed from the position that he currently holds while he's engaging in the state's pattern of conduct. This is unlawful, unconstitutional in the state of Nevada, in the state of California, in any state in this country. The entity does not have any probable cause or reasonable suspicion whatsoever. There is no constitutional basis for the government to keep you under criminal surveillance. Absent any, there's no laws that are being violated. You have no right to engage in surveillance, and the pattern of conduct is already fully outlined. So I want to be clear. The sunrise that's outside of my living room window in Los Angeles at Alvarado Gardens is not seen in perfect alignment with me in the state of Nevada. Las Vegas, Nevada, when I am at Courtyard by Marriott, where the entity's flying right over my head by airplanes. That's the P.O.C. That's the P.O.C. where you see light appearing underneath a structure while a demon crosses path in a vehicle, and then demons get it right in that vehicle, monitoring you in plain sight, which is the basis for federal prison. This is what the people of the state are doing on a ceaseless basis. The violent sex offenders, the closeted the entity are engaging in closeted psychopaths who are engaging in highly sexually perverted conduct while they are monitoring an American citizen. Monitoring a woman while my panties are down and engaging in conduct which is predatory in nature, criminal surveillance and federal stalking for purposes of, for no legitimate purpose, engaging in conduct that is sexually motivated and sexually perverted, while wanting to appear as though you're an ambulance, engaging in duty, engaging in commercial services such as Uber, picking someone up, and it's the same pattern of conduct. Amplified audible activity, impossible light. That's P.O.C. Path. License plate 628N79, and these are the demons who are, again, the mentally ill. The mentally ill make up the force of the Metro Police Department. Okay, they're the same closeted sex offenders. They're the claimed closeted psychopaths secretly stalking you with the people of the state. The same demon possession, not different from a demon driving an Uber vehicle. The demons that don't even know the definition of reasonable suspicion are pulling people over under authority that they don't have while they're group stalking in the state of Nevada. And that's Engineer Light underneath a covered structure, under that which isn't even the sun. Plate 820N66. That's the pattern of conduct. The entity is keeping a fake sun over me, and I want to be clear. Engineer Light is moving underneath there. Those are demons. They're all monitoring together. But I want to be clear with regard to the closeted psychopaths, the closeted sex offenders, those who are engaging in conduct that's not supposed to be known with regard to the pattern of conduct that the state is practicing, and it's demonic at its core, and it is criminal on its face. Okay, the light activity that you saw, it's demonic. It's letting you know about the condition of those who are group stalking. They're demons, and those are demons that engaged in an unlawful traffic stop while the people of the state were monitoring. They're monitoring now. They're monitoring while they engaged in that traffic stop. And the license plates that I documented, they're going to federal prison. I documented the people that stayed in this parking lot last night. They're all going to be prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring, state surveillance. All right, and that's a prosecution of the people of the state. And this one's going to federal prison, and flying under that, which is even the sun. That is the unintelligent pattern of conduct. They're doing so in a readily identifiable specific environment. There's no sun that's seen outside of my hotel room in Arcadia, California. And that's walking out, P.O.C, group stalking. P.O.C. The entity is using hell is relevant to the stalking in the sky space and also relevant to psychological torture, and that's a demon flying a helicopter. Okay, I want to be clear. The entity is doing so over the Mandalay Bay, where the Mandalay Bay building is the basis for light activity yesterday after 5 p.m. That's a demon flying, stalking in a helicopter, and it is very targeted, the ability to recognize who the entity is targeting when they're stalking. You're stalking in a specific environment. You're stalking amongst engineer light. You're stalking amongst pacing demons. And they're also going to federal prison. 283 PYG, that's Colorado. He's going to federal prison. Pacing with this demon, looking the opposite direction with engineer light on the ground, going to federal prison. TPY 6421, that's his Virginia plate. And all of the employees at Courtyard by Marriott, they're going to federal prison. This is the prosecution of Kevin McMahal. He is a corrupt leader, a demon-possessed one, and that's why this is happening on his watch. And that sex offender, again, 283 PYG, touching me with engineer light before they drive off, and they're monitoring on the freeway. That's amplification. Amplification under a fake sun that's not in alignment with my hotel room, number 130 in Arcadia, California, at the same time nor at any time. That's the entity stalking as a population, as I went from the venue of California to the venue of Nevada, where they're stalking with helicopters as well, which is relevant to the psychological torture that the state engages in while they're stalking you. And only demons are doing that. Exclusively the demon-possessed are group stalking. In the demonic environment, in demonic methods. This is P.O.C. It's currently it's 8:02 a.m. where you're looking at a fake sun and you're looking at engineer light. You're looking at stalking by a helicopter. You're looking at molestation and terrorism via directed light. And the Courtyard by Marriott is going, the employees are going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. This is all relevant positioning. The entity is engaged in federal stalking, which Courtyard by Marriott is also going to be prosecuted for. That's P.O.C. It's currently 8:03 a.m. Alrighty, pursuant to the pattern of conduct, the fake sun is remaining over Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue and not over Tracy Banks' apartment, where she was gang stalking by residents in concert with the Ontario police who are under the fake sun. Corey Watson engaging in kidnapping with her in 2022. She enters in engaging in the same terrorism with impossible light. And like I stated in the video, it is impossible light under all circumstances, and it's more concentrated as she is opening up the door. It's impossible under all circumstances. There's no muted form and making it more realistic. She's entering in aware of all the documentation, and she is gang stalking with Starbucks with the City of Ontario, license 9HUZ740, 7:57 a.m. She's under the fake sun at 1 o'clock in the afternoon as well. She's engaging in terrorism and psychological torture with the entity as well, and she is the one that's engaging in what is maintaining a fraudulently procured conservatorship while she's gang stalking, and this is how she acquired it, by engaging in what is gang stalking with the state, doing it behind my back while I'm subject to ongoing defamation and repeated kidnappings, which she then refers to in order to defame my character as well, while the entity is engaged in targeting. She enters in at 507 North Euclid Avenue at 7:57 a.m. and doing so pursuant to the same exact pattern of conduct as the people of the state, whose name I don't know, and you don't have to when they're all connected with the fake sun and the stalking with light behavior, and doing so with the intent to threaten and harass. And this is again a demon that's very heavily documented, gang stalking me in her vehicle under the fake sun that's moving as I am being targeted by her in her car under the fake sun that's remaining sunrise till sunset at her apartment building, units 49 through 64, literally documenting the fake sun at 6:33 a.m. That is not outside of her front door, contrary to what I'm documenting when she's inside of the apartment, gang stalking me by residents with the rest of the people of the state, just like she is here with the people of the state, and stalking with impossible light, reaching into the depths, appearing like lightning on the floor, and a greater concentration of light based on the demonic pattern of conduct. It's not naturally occurring light under any circumstances. But this is Tracy Banks speaking to her mental illness. This is a psychopath that is witnessed engaged. Her psychopathic personality disorder is documented when she committed kidnapping, and all of the lies that are clearly communicated as lies come out of her face on video, where she's stalking with the Ontario police that you see stalking on video today under the fake sun. It's currently 7:59 a.m. That is Jason Isaac Fields' sex partner, and they both engaged in what is committing fraud while they're gang stalking me together, seeking to acquire criminally while gang stalking me, a means of targeting me and defaming me, while acquiring a fraudulent marriage on paper in order to steal from me, and also acquiring a fraudulent conservatorship. This is with the gang stalking entity, the court, that is also targeting, and doing so with the intent to commit murder and kidnapping in order to steal property that belongs to me, real, personal, and intellectual property. This is what's entering into the venue Tracy Banks license 982Z740. You will see the fake sun, and even again at another venue, you will see her under the fake sun at 7 in the morning. I'm documenting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and this is the pattern of conduct that's underway. She's not distinct as she's showing she's engaged in the same exact P.O.C. It is currently 8 a.m. Alrighty, this is documentation regarding as I'm publishing or processing my podcast in order to publish it. You'll see surveillance by the people of the state. They're sitting at a table in relevant position, all in operational communication devices, and you'll see the fake sun in the same location it was where Corey Watson is inside of the venue, engaging in the same criminal surveillance, wearing a police uniform and engaging in the P.O.C. The people of the state are engaging in what is stalking on behalf of the government that's engaged in ongoing stalking, and as an entity that's gang stalking, and it's demonic. And they're doing the exact same thing. The engineer light that you see swiping on the floor on video, this is the engineer light that you've already seen flying in the air on video while they're in operation of devices, and they're pacing in that engineer light while the fake sun remains stationary in alignment to me. And I want to document the people of the state are engaging in what is ongoing pacing pursuant to what I do as I do it. This is what informs their pacing in and out of the bathroom, the timing that they're doing it, and they're doing it under the fake sun that's remaining in one location, which is where I'm at. So I do want to document specifically the state. Ontario Fire, this is Michael GERKEN. He's engaging in the pattern of conduct. This is a terrorist leader, and the Ontario Fire Department is engaged in criminal surveillance, federal stalking, engaged in criminal summoning like I documented this morning, in concert with the demons that are inside of the venue, pacing all around in light that's on the floor on the inside of the building. Absolutely ridiculously impossible light, especially while it's in Las Vegas. The sun is in Las Vegas over me, while the entity's keeping the sun over me in Los Angeles, where LAPD, in other words, is engaging in the same pattern of conduct. But nonetheless, the entity is pacing in engineer light. So you're looking at demons that are stalking, and also they're doing the same thing on Euclid Avenue, where Ontario Fire is sounding sirens. This is a criminal misuse and the malicious abuse of emergency vehicles where the government's engaged in criminal monitoring. And they're doing it with the people. It is public corruption. And Michael GERKEN's Ontario Fire Department enters into the venue under the fake sun, no difference with regard to the pattern of conduct. This demon is in a uniform representing Ontario Fire. That's the only difference. And it is the reason why, again, the Ontario Fire Department is gang stalking at Woodside Senior Apartments, where the entity is keeping the fake sun during the 12 p.m. in the middle of the day, in its zenith over the top of my head, where at no point is that shared with 507 North Euclid Avenue, like I'm documenting as I walk out at 1:13 in the afternoon yesterday. At 11:54, where the Ontario police are gang stalking, it's remaining over 507 North Euclid Avenue. None of it is occurring in a natural environment where LAPD is gang stalking, and in the middle of the day, I'm at work or I'm in my apartment, and the fake sun is over the top of my head at my front door, and over the top of my head at my office, which is at the same property, where the documented sunrise and sunset is occurring, as you're understanding and recognizing that environment where surveillance by a malicious entity is underway. But the malice of the entity is not commensurate with the lack of intelligence. They are identified very clearly, and they're also their mental illness is also very clear as well. And it's no longer closet; it's not concealed. They're not stealth. They're not cunning at all. They're merely obsessed, and they are also very maniacal. The more my documentation is published, the more psychopathic, the more obsessive and deranged the light activity is, and the demons that come in and participate in it. So again, the entity gang stalking by the Ontario Fire, and this is license 1677734. This appears to be a Caucasian male, but again, he could be Latino, and you just look at Caucasian, so color in and of itself is not informative. This appears to be either a Latino or a Caucasian male, but I would guess a Caucasian male. He has a salt and pepper mustache, and he's a bald head. He's representing Ontario Fire, which is what his badge on his arm bears, and he's driving a white truck with a California exempt plate. It is license plate 1677734. And as he is stalking in the path, the Ontario International Airport doing exactly what they're doing at 1:13 p.m. on video. This is crossing path in sync with my entering and exiting the venue, which is shared with the fake sun remaining in the same position. Ontario Fire gang stalking as I walk out to get documents to document the people of the state. License 6JXN999, license 8ZKY682, license 9CYU377, license 9LHD476. The people of the state are engaged in an ongoing frenzy. They pace around. If I get up, they're engaging what is movement. When I am documenting on my device, if I engage in recalling anything, remember these are demons that are monitoring. This informs their pacing in and out of the bathrooms behind me, pacing in and out of the venue, pacing even the employees coming from the back, pacing. And remember, they're demons on the inside where they, the Starbucks personnel is, they're pacing in that hallway they have where they have a storage room back here. Those demons are pacing, and so is the drive-through. On the outside, the exterior of the building, they're pacing while they're using the drive-through. And this is informing you, the reason why you know this is what the significance of the impossible light that's coexisting with people driving their car. No, these are demons who are pacing, and they're stalking with light. Stalking with light is pursuant to monitoring, and they're all doing it under a fake sun. Okay, so this is again P.O.C. headquarters where the Ontario Fire comes in, and this is again coming and cutting me off at the path as I walk back in after documenting the people of the state by license. And the fake sun is in the same position it was where Corey Watson was gang stalking at 6:33 a.m. and the entity is stalking as they enter and exit the venue with impossible light. Impossible light is flat plastered on the inside, on the ground inside of the building. Absolutely ridiculously impossible light where their shadows are creating light activity while they are walking all around, which is not, they're pacing. It's a demonic spirit using all of them together. All they're doing is pacing all around me, stalking. And this is what the City of Ontario is doing. The Ontario International Airport crossing path in concert with Ontario Fire Department that's entering in, completing a purchase with regard to the demons thinking that when they're doing something, engaging in the elements of monitoring, that is some sort of diversion from the P.O.C. and that no one's ever going to suspect it. That's what it is. They think you're never going to suspect because this is a business and I'm buying something and this is what you do at this venue. What else am I supposed to do? And how can I be stalking you if I work here? And how can I be stalking you if I come here every day? How can I be stalking you if I don't know you? These are all, again, the false presuppositions of gang stalking, and it is entirely irrelevant. As I've shown you, the people of the state sharing in the pattern of conduct, and I don't know their name, and you don't have to in order to document the government criminally monitoring you in concert with the people of the state. This is showing the malice of Tracy Banks, those who you do know, engaging in the identical pattern of conduct with the government as well. The entity is doing so with regard to a very obvious and plain engagement in as well. Obviously, because the sun that's remaining over me in Los Angeles, Los Angeles, but Las Vegas. I went out of the state to document what the psychopaths, what the unintelligent are doing with regard to gang stalking at Ontario's 507 North Euclid Avenue right now, and for the duration of the day. It's a population that's sharing in presence, and that's the significance of a fake sun sitting over the building, and all they're doing is pacing. When you look at that psychopathic means of stalking one person, to even engage in it is showing their mental illness, okay? And the ways in which they engage in it is showing their mental illness. To continue engaging in it when it's exposed is showing their mental illness. For the government to go to this extent for no legitimate purpose, it is showing mental illness, and it is inspired by their demon possession and their psychopathic and maniacal obsession with me and my vagina. The Ontario Fire Department is crossing path while you're looking at them in the cafe. They are stalking in the path while I'm showing you where the fake sun is. It's in perfect alignment with my person on this opposite side of the cafe. And as I get up, that fake sun moves as I move. As I walk around the building, that demon that knows that he's being documented, because these are demons that are monitoring, and he is walking out of the entrance. And as he walks out of the entrance, you're seeing the fake sun as I am capturing criminal presence in the path by the Ontario Fire. And it's the same criminal presence when they're in Ontario Fire Department trucks, crossing path, gang stalking as a fire department as well. Doing the same thing when they're sounding sirens, that's criminal activity, they're monitoring. And this is relevant to the prosecution of the government that's engaged in criminal surveillance. And it is in concert with the Ontario Police Department, who share engagement as an entity. So the Ontario Fire that's gang stalking at 10:15 a.m. is the same entity gang stalking at 6:33 a.m. under the fake sun that's at this. It's fake because it's in the same exact location, in alignment with me. This is how you're understanding the government that engaged in kidnapping, and that came and communicated the threat again today under the fake sun at 6:33 a.m. The Ontario Fire Department and the Ontario Police Department represent the same entity, okay? But this is the City of Ontario that committed kidnapping, specifically the Ontario Police Department. And this is what is so highly intelligent, and this is why the demons that are engaging with is smiling and using their cell phones, they're using their cell phones as federal stalking. While they're smiling and talking, it's audible activity. And it's also the outward demeanor of a psychopath that is under all circumstances sorely mistaken with regard to how gang stalking is to be prosecuted, like any other case, by the way. Well, you're not going to be deterred or distracted or deceived by some demon smiling or being with children. They represent a threat to those children as opposed to appearing innocent. The entities engaging in a P.O.C. and that pattern of conduct supersedes any unpersuasive mask that the demon-possessed rely on. The impossible light, the fake sun, the gang stalking by the government, replete with planes and helicopters, and every department at every level of government is engaging in that P.O.C. That's why the Ontario Fire is cutting my path off by walking into the entrance after I walk out to get license plates while they're engaging in that surrounding conduct. This is 10:26 a.m. right now, documenting that, and this is as my podcast is being processed in order to publish. And it's 10:27 a.m. If you'll recall, Corey Watson, who's gang stalking under the fake sun at the same address, 507 North Euclid Avenue today, he engaged in kidnapping as a department, as an entity on June 16, 2022. And the fake sun is over the top of his head, my head, where we are at 215 E.C. Street in Ontario, which is south of this location, meaning it's not over the entrance of the library where it's clearly in alignment with me inside of the cafe, because this is what the demons are presupposing that you're going to assume is sunlight, and you're going to use their illusions in order to prosecute them. If that's the sun and this is sunlight, then it's not over the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, because it remains here right now, and not over the OVITT Family Community Library like it is on at 10:29 a.m. It's 10:27, and like I documented yesterday, at 1:13 p.m. where I remain at this venue, there is no natural environment where you are looking at the environment where an ongoing harassment and false assertions are being made pursuant to targeting and a criminal pattern of conduct by these same psychopaths who are monitoring my vagina and pacing around like weirdos, stalking under a fake sun, and they committed a kidnapping, waging false allegations. And they do it under the fake sun. That's what's documented on June 16, 2022. Where there's no sun that's going to be, and that's the significance of being at Starbucks. That's the significance of living in Los Angeles. That's the significance of traveling to Nevada. The entity is surrounded with evidence showing not only the malice with regard to their behavior and their conduct and the acts that they've committed, but their malice with regard to their demon possession in that demonic environment where they're targeting. But it is evidence that is screaming at the top of its lungs, and it is that which is not going to be overlooked. And so the entity that comes and engages in surveillance at Starbucks, doing so while the impossible light, Corey Watson, and the city of Ontario have been engaged in the same exact P.O.C. So these demons sit in wearing police uniforms, and the same exact harassment and psychological torture by impossible light is underway across my person while I'm documenting the same exact pattern of conduct and the same exact population sharing in the same exact P.O.C. And then they sit on video like that's not going to be mentioned, like it's going to be overlooked, like it's irrelevant in documenting a malicious pattern of conduct revealing public corruption, because it's not irrelevant, and it's at the forefront of that prosecution when you're understanding criminal monitoring and the nature of the crime. All right. It is currently 10:29 a.m. That's Ontario Fire, again, license 1677734. It's a California exempt plate. This is Michael Gerken, again, that department engaged in criminal surveillance, which I've already documented, the Ontario Fire Department for years, gang stalking me throughout the city of Ontario, psychopaths using fire trucks, stalking with light and audible activity, engaging in surveillance in the most ridiculous manners, showing mental illness, stalking and surveillance in fire trucks, using fire departments as a means of criminal activity while they're engaging in the satanic system. What is this preoccupation with me? It's because they're demons. Okay, they have no interest as people. They have no interest as me. It's because they're demon possessed. This is demonic at its core. This is why you take time out of your day to sit around in a cafe to engage in surveillance. This is why you bring your kids and your husband and your boyfriend or your gay lover or your dog to engage in surveilling me, because they're demon possessed. All right. It is currently 10:30 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, Starbucks and Starbucks employees sharing in a sex offense that's going out of their way to touch me supernaturally, while the demon-possessed psychopaths, they go about like nothing's happening, like they're not targeting you, like they're not stalking you, like they're not monitoring you, while a fake sun is sitting over the venue, and this is the direct evidence of it. By the way, the fake sun and the engineer light is prima facie case of a federal prosecution for gang stalking by the government. This is including Raquel, Jasmine, Saul. The entity is maintaining the engineer light in the way that I've already documented at all hours, both now, not just in the later afternoon like they did initially as of June 4th. The entity was warming up, easing into the gang stalking conduct as it's resuming at Starbucks post that kidnapping on May 29, 2025 through June 3rd. And so the entity is now maintaining that fake sun as early as 6, like you saw today, 6:17 a.m., 6:33 a.m., maintaining it as late as 7:26 p.m. at the same address, and keeping that engineered light all of the ceilings and the walls where Saul and Raquel, and as you've seen, Elena and Vince, you've seen Brian gang stalking and engaging in terrorism, and their psychopathic disorders are shown while they're all in that engineered light preparing their drinks, pacing all about gang stalking on the job of Starbucks, which shows what the people of the state in California are engaging in simultaneously. And there is no need to address the targeted individual, and it is showing diabolical level of malice. And I'm subject to a sex offense of a demonic nature when I'm putting brown sugar in my tea that I just ordered from these demons while the fake son is idle over the same address where Corey Watson was gang stalking at 6:33 a.m. with Engineer Light. Engineer Light swiping across the floor as the front door opens and closes. Which is, again, Corey Watson's engagement in gang stalking after having committed kidnapping and engaging in federal stalking, aware that I'm documenting the same entity that he is a part of, including the employer that is a gang stalker, Ontario Police. And he does so communicating a threat, intending to do so. And it's also very threatening that he's doing so while smiling in my face after having committed such egregious conduct against me. And this is where the fake son is remaining. It is currently, again, the current time is 12:51 p.m. The entity is keeping the fake son over the same venue as though 6 hours is the amount of time in a natural environment that it would take to get from one side of the street to the opposite. And while it does that, it's remaining in alignment to me. So wherever I am at the address is where the fake son will be, in a grand departure from staying at one physical location as it gradually goes from the east side of the building to the west side of the building. And where I remain, that's how I'm able to document at 7:26 p.m. the remaining fake son. At 6:18 p.m. the remaining fake son at the same address. These demons are engaging in sexual violence, and that's psychological torture as well, but I will prosecute for the unlawful touching while sex offenders and stalkers want to keep me under surveillance. And it is the company itself and those working for the company. And it does include Raquel and Saul and Jasmine, the entity that is pacing. You see them gang stalking this morning, and they're still stalking with the Ontario Police Department, as this entity is on a daily basis. And while I'm speaking to it, the Engineer Light, like vehicles on the road traveling across the bar, where they are engaging in what is ongoing psychological torture. This is directly related to the people who are going to be prosecuted. The entity conducts itself as though it's separate from the light activity, and it's not. They're going to be prosecuted for the scenes that I show you. The people of the state, the government's going to be prosecuted for it, and psychological torture to be recognized while the entity is engaging in what is this psychopathic pattern intended to harm another in furtherance of murder and kidnapping, and they will be criminally prosecuted for the scenes where they are targeting and engaging in it with impunity and malice. And the demon-possessed are right now engaging in the conduct, providing a wealth of evidence against themselves, proving their mental illness and their criminal engagement in an unprecedented, un-American conduct against American citizens, and doing so with a level of disregard and malice that I have demonstrated. And Tracy Banks is here under, remember, the 7 a.m. fake son, it's still here over the venue, so she is gang stalking. It's also not over Woodside Senior Apartment, so she is gang stalking. It's also not over me in LA because I'm at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where Corey Watson is stalking me right in my face, which no police officer is going to do and avoid federal prison, especially having engaged in kidnapping like Corey Watson has, badge number 80548. The fake son remaining after he leaves is the evidence of him being a demon and targeting me. And this is speaking to the entity that is engaging in this P.O.C. As I left at 1:13 p.m. and the fake son remained over me as I left, to be over the OVITT Family Community Library, like I documented at 1:29 p.m. The entity is maintaining this fake son, and as I leave at an earlier hour, which is always the P.O.C., that's why it's not over Alvarado Gardens. In a natural environment, it could not be. Anybody in Florida, you're not looking at the natural environment while these demons are providing evidence about their mental illness while they're engaging in what is attacking a federal prosecutor who's going to beat each and every one of them in a federal case, each and every last one of them, including the company. But they're gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. That's what's notable, and it is the basis of federal prison. All right. So as I stand at the bar, I took a picture of it. Where I'm standing, where impossible light is molesting, and it occurs through a flashing means, while there's no vantage point for the sun to be causing that. And also the sun doesn't cause like a Photoshop type of, photographing type of environment. That's the engineered light. That's the stalking with light conduct when the demons open and close doors, and when they operate restaurants and drive-thrus like Starbucks, and when they're driving by like the demons on Euclid Avenue. That's when that flashing light conduct occurs, but it's not a natural environment, all right? It's pursuant to monitoring on communication devices as well. It's currently 12:55 p.m. and the entity is keeping this engineered light in motion. That's relevant to the monitoring, and you saw the Ontario Police gang stalking in the same environment that remained as they depart. And that fake sun, that engineered environment remains, and the people of the state are engaging in that pattern of conduct, which is criminal. and it's inhumane, and it's the conduct of the government itself that shares in that pattern of conduct as the demon-possessed are engaging in this monitoring system together. It is the prosecution of the state of California, and it is occurring where the entity is leaving, the entity remains through the people of the state. And that's what I'm showing you. I'm showing you all the means of pacing in traffic, on the sidewalk, in the restaurant, by the employees, in and out of the venue. And you know that aerial surveillance is ongoing. This is why the Ontario police are stalking so heavily on a daily basis in planes and helicopters as they are maintaining that presence around me and activity around me in an entirely unnatural and implausible and ridiculous environment, to be frank. It is currently, again, 12:56 p.m. This is P.O.C. While the fake sun remains over 507 North Euclid Avenue, an impossible light is swimming across the bar, threatening me, molesting my person, threatening me and violating my person, and also remaining all over on the inside while Starbucks is threatening my life and safety and my well-being. And this crime scene is going to serve to prosecute the state of California, because where the entity is engaging in the P.O.C. by any person at any location, the entire state, the government is engaging in it. All right, and I have far more than just these demons inside of Starbucks. It is the prosecution of the state. This is P.O.C. 41DPYQ, touching, molesting, harassing, terrorizing with impossible light on the sidewalk as I approach 215 E.C. Street, the OVITT Family Community Library, and is engaged in criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire, who was stalking in the path as I am walking, and it is targeting because the fake sun is remaining over me at this entrance, where the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking, like they are at the TABOR Professional Building, like they are when I'm walking on Euclid Avenue back toward G Street North, like they are when I am at the 507 North Euclid Avenue Starbucks. That's audible activity while you saw the people of the state gang stalking via traffic. 8G31945, stalking in the path under the fake sun. That's how you know they're stalking me, and that's also how you know that the Ontario Fire Department is gang stalking. And their fire station on B Street, it's a crime scene. I documented the fake sun in the morning over my head at that crime scene where Michael GERKEN is engaged in federal stalking. He's engaged in domestic terrorism. He's a violent sex offender, also monitoring my vagina, and he's engaged in criminal summoning all throughout the city with the people of the state, engaging in what is domestic terrorism and facilitating domestic terrorism. And that is a Florida plate, the first license plate that I read. It is currently 1:06 p.m. Fake sun over 215 E.C. Street, like it is at 9 o'clock in the morning when I'm at this. If you recall, it's over me while I'm right here, and it's also in the same place where it is at 6:10 p.m. This is non-movement. That's not movement of the sun, and the government is monitoring. So is the airport, so are the police, and the people of the state. P.O.C. 6DXN113, gang stalking me with the Ontario police while they're stalking on what is Laurel, and I'm walking north on Laurel. The demons of the Ontario police sounding their vehicle as that demon is crossing path. They're driving at night, stalking in engineer light with the Ontario police gang stalking. And that's psychological torture that the third party is engaged in. It's 9:17 p.m. Ontario police gang stalking by helicopter, and when I don't record on video, they don't fly away. So I want to record from 10 p.m. It's 10:03 p.m. Just maintaining helicopter activity around me, just stalking. This is how important I am to Mike LORENZ, and you need to know that this is how important my vagina is to Mike LORENZ. That's why the demons of the Ontario Police Department are stalking me at places like Starbucks, and the evidence of that is the maintenance of a fake sun over me, where all of the city of Ontario is stalking me, evident through that supernatural environment. The fake sun remains over me as I move in the city, which is where the Ontario Police Department is stalking me, and that is why that police department is going to be disbanded, showing how unneeded it is while it is stalking one person as opposed to engaging in law enforcement. The entity is stalking as of 10:04 p.m. where I am at the TABOR Professional Center, the TABOR Professional Building at 320 West G Street, where the people of the state are stalking me. This is, again, the entity that is demon possessed, is obsessed with one person, is stalking one person, is following around together one person, that is myself, and that is evident through the circus light activity, which is present while demons are maintaining presence in the path, stalking and literally feeding for attention from me, where I don't pull out my camera and start recording video. And the cowards that are the Ontario police, who are on video literally every day and every night, stalking me in helicopter, which I have the evidence to prove, and that's why the Ontario Police is going to be disbanded, and demons like who you see stalking me, bearing weapons under a fake sun and a documentation of kidnapping me while gang stalking me as a police officer. That's why Corey Watson's going to federal prison, because this is what he was doing this morning. He was stalking. And this is what the people of the state were doing in the same exact manner inside of that cafe, stalking. And they were stalking under the fake sun that remained over me when I walked to the OVITT Family Community Library, less than 0.4 miles away where the fake sun set, where the entity is engaging in what is stalking me as a whole city. And this is speaking to the open engagement and stalking by a police department, which it's going to live to regret. Because it's not just the unsupported allegations, it's fully proven with a body of evidence, not just a little bit of evidence, but a body of evidence. And the demons of the Ontario Police are stalking in helicopter at 320 West G Street, where the fake sun is over me in the morning, by the way. And that's how you know also that they're stalking, because the police department is stalking where the specific environment is. Where I wake up in the morning is where the fake sun rises. And where it is that I remain in the evening, that's where the fake sun sets. And that's where the Ontario Police Department is also stalking. And the evidence supports that over and over and over again. It is currently 10:06 p.m. This is the evidence that's putting Corey Watson in federal prison. That demon came in my face with his demon-possessed partner of the Ontario Police, engaging in federal stalking in evidence, video evidence, and he did so pursuant to the pattern of conduct by the Ontario Police Department, where they're stalking me all day, all night in helicopters, and then stalking in my face inside of the Starbucks, and in doing so facilitating the criminal conduct of the people of the state. That's what he did on video. That's what the Ontario Police Department did on video. This is what they continuously do on video. And that's why not only are they criminal, but they're highly, highly intellectually impotent. And they're being disbanded for it. I'm going to prosecute them with their own stupidity. It is currently 10:07 p.m. This is a helicopter activity speaking to the audible activity where the people of the state are stalking and psychologically torturing me in concert with the government that's obsessively stalking me right now in the middle of the night at 10:07 p.m. P.O.C. This is not a takeoff, this is gang stalking. This is 320 West G Street. The airport is at 2900 Airport Road. This is where the Ontario Police is gang stalking. You see that flashing light behind the tree. Ontario Police is gang stalking to the audible activity of the Ontario International Airport. Remember, it's elements: audible activity, light activity, relevant positioning. The people of the state are stalking in the path. All right, they're monitoring together that somebody's stalking in the path with the method of light. That's the courtyard vs. They're gang stalking that entire apartment complex. And the entity is, like I just documented via podcast, this is crossing path by a demon that lives at the venue. Monitoring, they're standing in engineer light, they're driving in engineer light, they're crossing path in the sky space. The Ontario Police is gang stalking. And this is the evidence of it. Look at all these shadows. I can't make this up, okay? None of this is normal light activity. 1, 2, 3. That's a demon that's stalking. Literally, there's a flashing light. That's a demon that's stalking. This is P.O.C. because that's not from headlights. Okay? That's P.O.C. My shadow's even taller. The Ontario Police is being disbanded. They are incentivizing and encouraging stalking, violence against women. They're encouraging terrorism. They're encouraging what is gang stalking criminal activity. And this is the outward demonstration of demon possession. I've already documented this demon's license plate while they're gang stalking by residents. He's at Woodside Senior Apartments. And this is a demon. While you see him flash that light, that's a demonstration of demon possession. And this is the same condition of the Ontario Police. Corey Watson that was gang stalking in Starbucks, he's demon possessed just like this third party right here. He's stalking me just like he was stalking in Starbucks just like this third party is right here. And this is evident. My shadow is taller than me. I'm not this tall. And there's more than one. And while they're driving at a distance over there, that's not going to cause what you saw was a molestation of my person. And all of this pattern of conduct is what's happening inside of Starbucks. They're stalking with light shooting all over the walls and the ceilings. Demons who are stalking with light. The entity doing so inside of all of this pattern of conduct, which is terrorizing, is enveloped within the building of the Starbucks, just as one example. It is the pattern of conduct. The Ontario Police Department are gang stalking by helicopter, while the Ontario Ontario International Airport is hovering over 323 West G Street while I'm standing at 320 West G Street, and demons are stalking with light in the path while the Ontario International Airport is clearly deviating from taking off from 2900 Airport Road because they're stalking. All right. And this is where you're stalking with light in the path. And these are the demon possessed that are gang stalking. And the demon possessed that are stalking like this, they're monitoring my vagina. Okay. Knows when my panties are down, engages in pacing around right now, stalking with light. That's the demon possessed who are also violent sex offenders. And that's what's working for the Ontario Police Department as well. Another reason why they're going to be disbanded. Okay. This demon possession is the outward demonstration of mental illness, and it is the cause of what is public corruption. All right. They are monitoring very heavily, and it is speaking to what is entirely corrupt, public corruption, and it's resulting, manifesting in criminal activity that poses a threat to national security. This is the conduct of the Ontario Police Department. The Ontario Police are monitoring me through the criminal activity of the people of the state, and that's why they're going to be disbanded. This is P.O.C. This demon came out of his apartment to come and monitor with the police. 8SPL 710 and 9NJB 782. That's P.O.C. All right, here's my shadow perpendicular over here, and my shadow's in front over here. When he's saying, am I all right? That's audible activity. He's monitoring and he's threatening my life in doing so. There's 3 shadows right in front. That's a stalker. Okay, that's P.O.C. and it's absolutely impossible. These lights do not cause multiple shadows. You see this impossible light? That's a demon. These are demons. It's not funny, but it's so ridiculous, the pattern of conduct, and it's also very obvious. And this is what the point of providing the tutorial is, exposing demonic activity where criminal monitoring by the government is underway. Government is underway, okay? It is currently, again, 10:17 p.m. These are the sex offenders stalking a woman in the middle of the night, and they chase in bathrooms as well. They chase me in the bathroom, stalk me in the bathroom, which is also why the Ontario Police Department is being disbanded. It's an entirely illegitimate concern about what I'm doing in the bathroom while the people of the state are engaging in sexual violence on the Ontario Police Department's behalf, gang stalking in bathrooms, because that's what they do as well while they're pacing around like psychopaths with impossible light. That's my shadow way over there on the wall. And multiple shadows. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Those are my shadow, my arm. They're stalking. They're all stalking. This is P.O.C. All right, the demon-possessed gang stalking in concert with the City of Ontario. That includes license plate 5MVN616, I believe. 5MVN616 gang stalker while the Ontario International Airport is hovering over 323 West G Street in order to target in the environment where there's no airports or there is no airplane that's going to be taken off from any Terminal 2 or Terminal 4 from the Ontario International Airport that's going to be in the sky space hovering over 323 West G Street, where this third party with this license plate is stalking in the path. You can see my multiple shadows, just to be clear. It's impossible light activity. And also that's speaking to the concerted conduct with the City of Ontario, who was also stalking in the sky space by the Ontario Police Department, like I just documented, the Ontario International Airport gang stalking with planes, and now the Ontario Fire Department, Michael Gerken, who's been stalking all day long, also at the Starbucks, is engaged in criminal summoning at the heavily documented Woodside Senior Apartments. You saw them do this at 12:42 in the afternoon, where LAPD is gang stalking at the exact same time, where I used a screen recording to document criminal summoning by American Medical Response and the Fire Department that are engaging in criminal summoning, monitoring, stalking with the state. Criminal summoning is the reaction of the entity that's also being heavily documented. The entity engages in this with helicopter activity when I document the demons, and they're surrounded and they're fearful and infuriated. Criminal summoning is a response, and also helicopter activity is a response. This is P.O.C. The Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Police Department, and the Ontario Fire Department gang stalking with Woodside Senior Apartments. All 144 units are being prosecuted for engaging in violence against women. They're stalking in violation of that federal statute at this HUD-regulated property. They're doing so now, and they were doing so while I was remaining at Unit 51, where the Ontario Fire Department, the Ontario International Airport, and the Ontario Police Department very heavily documented gang stalking like they are now in the specific environment, which is why they were engaging in criminal summoning and stalking in planes and helicopters while the fake sun was rising and setting over Woodside Senior Apartments, Tracy Banks' apartment in particular, where this same City of Ontario committed kidnapping on May 29, 2025. Michael Gerken is the one that's going to be removed from position for the criminal activity as a domestic terrorist, where gang stalking is underway by the Ontario Fire Department. It is currently, again, 10:21 p.m. where you're looking in the video where I have the multiple shadows. This is where the Ontario Fire Department is targeting with demons that are sounding sirens and using vehicle lights as they engage in light activity, relevant positioning. And it's very disturbing to see the demon possessed operating fire trucks and ambulances, and that's exactly what they are. All of them stalking under the fake sun at Starbucks, by the way. Documented the fire department, documented the police department, documented the American Medical Response demons, all stalking under the fake sun, and they're stalking now. Okay, it is currently, and they're stalking at the heavily documented venue of Woodside Senior Apartments. Like I said, every angle of what it is that I'm describing is already supported with a whole body of evidence. The venue, the actors, and their pattern of conduct, which is identical. It is currently 10:22 p.m. This is P.O.C. It is the entity that's sounding gunshots and then stalking with helicopter activity. So let me document again, 5MVN616. And the demon that's stalking with light, very heavily showing demon possession with the flashlight conduct, 9NJB782. Gang stalking with the Ontario police as well, who you can hear. That's called criminal summoning. That's the police, the fire department, American Medical Response. This is Paul Leon's public exposure and removal from office for gang stalking in the city of Ontario, which he is a part of. This is the documentation where the entity is then the next morning arriving and standing in line at Starbucks as though you forgot all this evidence of the city of Ontario gang stalking me, because you haven't. This is P.O.C. This is the Ontario Police Department flying directly over my head, targeting. But you also know that because they're flying over my head every day, they're stalking every day. You also know that it's targeting because of the impossible light activity that it's happening in, which is impossible light activity. It's also impossible that the sun sits over me like it is at every venue where I'm at for the duration of the day, like it did at Starbucks, like it did where Corey Watson of the Ontario Police Department, that's gang stalking in helicopters right now, badge number 80548. He is going to federal prison for gang stalking as a part of a targeting police department that's entirely illegitimate and is not engaged in law enforcement. They're engaged in criminal surveillance, and Corey Watson, pursuant to criminal surveillance, engaged in kidnapping on June 16, 2022, and he engaged in documented gang stalking in my face, an unlawful threat while bearing weapons and bearing a badge of a corrupt police department with a pattern of kidnapping and terrorism and harassment. Did so today at the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue under the fake sun and amongst impossible light that I also documented inside of that cafe. The Ontario Police Department is gang stalking with the people of the state. And specifically, as I'm documenting, because this is federal prison, he is a resident of Woodside Senior Apartments, license 9NJB782, was gang stalking as I narrated it on podcast. And then the Ontario Fire Department, American Medical Response, are engaged in criminal summoning at Woodside Senior Apartments right now. They're stalking in the path with light activity while the Ontario Police Department is flying in circles. This is federal prison, 9NJB782. And he's also gang stalking by residents at Woodside Senior Apartments. And so is this. This is an African-American female, license 5MVM616. Gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. I just documented it in images. The Ontario International Airport hovers right here. It's in pictures. And that's light activity while she's pacing in engineer light. You see how the shadows vary. I've got 3 right here in front of me, and this is a 4th one, and that's a 5th one, and that's stalking by the Ontario Police, demon possession in a demonic environment, following me every day and every night in helicopter. And then the gang stalking police officers are stalking me in the Starbucks during the day where the fake sun sits over the Starbucks all day long. This is the evidence disbanding the Ontario Police Department. Michael GERKEN, the Ontario Fire Department, is gang stalking right now at the Woodside Senior Apartments in relevant position, gang stalking using fire trucks. And American Medical Response is gang stalking right now in relevant position, gang stalking with ambulances at Woodside Senior Apartments where the fake sun rises and sets. And I'm documenting right here on this street in the morning where the fake sun is at 6:17 in the morning. This is where the Ontario Police are flying over my head and flying in circles exhibiting mental illness in doing so. This is demonic pacing. It's not law enforcement either. It's stalking, and they engage in flying in circles around me while they engage in their ritualistic conduct of pacing around me, which is what the demon possessed are doing under the fake sun. All they're doing is pacing. All right, it is currently, let me show you all these shadows on this car. The Ontario Police are demon possessed, and they're stalking, and they're obviously stalking. And there's a heavy body of evidence showing that they're stalking and that they're also demon possessed, because this is what you're witnessing. And it is in concert with the people of the state, this one in particular, this African-American woman, and that's based as a federal prison. And this is impossible light while they drive by, impossible light activity. It moves across the walls, it moves across the gate grass over here. Their headlights are not gonna reach back here over around me. They're targeting, just like they are when I'm in Starbucks and you see the tornadoes of light. That's what they're doing out here on G Street, stalking me with the city of Ontario. This is P.O.C. And they're doing it all night. They're doing it all night, stalking. A whole population stalking one person. This is, again, the stupidity. I'm showing public corruption, but I'm showing stupidity. The Ontario Police Department is being disbanded. They are corrupt. They're sexually perverted. They're mentally deranged, and they are very, very stupid. Okay, this is a complete case against the Ontario Police Department, which is a complete case against the state of California. It's the state of California's pattern of conduct, and the Ontario Police is being disbanded. And this is also serving to put Corey Watson in federal prison, because this is what he was doing this morning. He was gang stalking with the people of the state in my face. No gang stalking police officer, first of all, has any constitutional authority. And what you will never do is boldly do it in the face of an American citizen. And that's exactly what Corey Watson did, with a smile on his face, with his communication device in operation in his hand, under the fake sun in engineered light. And that fake sun sat there for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 8 hours later. Is when I leave at around 12, 7 hours later, and that fake sun remained at that Starbucks. And the people of the state gang stalking in the same manner that Corey Watson, the Ontario Police Department, are gang stalking now. This is crossing path repeatedly, and it's putting every kidnapper in federal prison, including Nathan Morgan, B. Hook, L. Martinez, and C. Torres. They're all going to federal prison for gang stalking. Being demons and obsessively stalking me, and being obsessed with my vagina, an illegitimate government interest, where the people of the state are stalking me in bathrooms on behalf of this gang stalking police department, using police resources to stalk a woman day and night. That's thousands of dollars to use a helicopter to stalk Erica Lorraine Spencer. That's why they're being disbanded. This is why Tracy Banks is going to federal prison. This is why Jason Isaac Fields belongs in federal prison. Engaging in what is through gang stalking, through criminal defamation with the state that is targeting me, acquiring through fraud what is a secret conservatorship over me, and through fraud and criminal defamation while gang stalking me with the state, acquiring a fraudulent marriage to me. That's the entity that's gang stalking and seeking to profit from my death, profit from my being kidnapped, stalking me in the middle of the night with helicopters, fire trucks, and ambulances, and through the people of the state, the demons who are the people of the state. It's a complete case. And everybody engaged in those roles, they're going to federal prison, including the gang stalkers of the Ontario Police Department. And they're not just going to prison. The Ontario Police is being shut down. They're being disbanded for this criminal conduct that they incentivize. They're being disbanded because of the criminal activity that they're responsible for, that the people of the state are engaging in. This is why they're being disbanded. They are a threat to the security, to the safety of American citizens while they're sharing in this criminal system. Literally, the pattern of conduct by the people of the state is why the Ontario Police Department is being disbanded. This is P.O.C. Corey Watson's badge number is 80548. I documented both of those license plates. Both of those officers are subject to federal prison, and they're sharing in criminal conduct with the people of the state, the civilian population that are engaging in a statewide P.O.C. It is currently 10:30 p.m. and the Ontario Fire Department and American Medical Response are gang stalking at Woodside Senior Apartments right now, pursuant to criminal summoning, the basis upon which the Ontario Police Department committed kidnapping on May 29, 2025. This is P.O.C. Crossing path, light activity. Here's a specific environment. Gang stalking, and during the day the specific environment is shown by the fake sun that remains over me, while the Ontario International Airport and the Ontario Police are engaging in aerial surveillance. The entity is doing this. Ontario Police are doing this everywhere in the city of Ontario that I go. This is how the entity is engaging in what is failing to make it seem as though, because it's not seeming as though, they're clearly stalking as a police department. The mentally ill and the psychopathic repeat that which is an unsuccessful narrative.
They don't have anything else to do, and a psychopath does not know how to stop doing what it knows that it should not do, and it's being told that it should not do it. That's a spirit. That's a demonic spirit. I'm going to use all of the thousands of videos that I have, though, to disband the Ontario Police for targeting. That's a demon stalking in the path with light, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. Remember, this is not just stalking, it's gang stalking, it's criminal monitoring. So the elements of monitoring are underway, and this is also how you recognize the Ontario Police are targeting, monitoring. All right. In addition to the fact of them doing the same thing over Tracy Banks' apartment while I'm inside of it, and on the Los Angeles PD doing the same thing when I'm in my apartment and at work in the specific environment, while they're repeating the same thing as though they're oblivious to what I'm saying, as though they're suggesting that they're not, and it's not suggesting that, it's not persuasive, it's not intelligent, it's not a good strategy at all. It's not a strategy. The Ontario Police is being disbanded. You're looking at their mental illness while they continuously do that, and I'm getting video after video after video, night after night after night, day after day after day, which becomes year after year after year. And it's a pattern of conduct shared with multiple cities and multiple counties in the specific environment. And those baboons continuously provide evidence against themselves. Nathan Morgan, B. Hook, C. Torres, and L. Martinez, they're going to prison. They are going to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:33 p.m. All right. Also, let me document the people of the state engaged in gang stalking with the city of Ontario, as I am encountering them as they're crossing path, as the city of Ontario is maintaining the elements of monitoring. So I did document license 65864F4. They're gang stalking by residents on G Street, where the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department, American Medical Response, and the Ontario International Airport are gang stalking as well. License 8PFH363. The entity is gang stalking as I am at the TABOR professional building right now. So this is why you have criminal summoning adjacent to me, which is called relevant positioning. So going next to me or going in front, they could go to 325 West G Street. They can go to the 7-Eleven. They can go to the Woodside Senior Apartments on the opposite side where Tracy's side is, where I document on video the Ontario Fire Department gang stalking under the fake sun. Let me go ahead and show you pictures real quick. Hold on. That's the Ontario Fire departing. That's American Medical Response departing. This is criminal summoning that they're engaging in. This is just adding to what it is that I documented by podcast. And they enter into Woodside Senior Apartments 302 West G Street with the lights on. And they're doing so pursuant to criminal summoning while the Ontario Fire Department and while the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario International Airport were maintaining aerial surveillance here while I was documenting, and they are doing that pursuant to the pattern of conduct. This is the specific environment, and during the day, the specific environment is recognized while the sun is over the top of my head, and they're engaging in the same conduct, pacing, stalking, monitoring, and it's the government stalking in fire trucks, the government stalking in ambulances, the government stalking in airplanes, the government stalking in helicopters, the government stalking in police vehicles, okay, and the government stalking via the people of the state. All right, this is the P.O.C. I've got multiple shadows over here, and here's another one over here, and they're all over. And the entity is also engaging in what is molesting me with impossible light. And as I back up, the shadow gets taller and taller, and there's more of them. This is not the product of natural artificial light. It's magnified light, and you don't have like a shadow that's Ontario Police Vehicle 1034 crossing path. The entity is engaging in the entity is engaging in what is stalking with light, and this is light activity in an engineered environment. This is a demonic environment where criminal surveillance is underway, and the Ontario Police are gang stalking obsessively. So doing so by helicopter, doing so by crossing path in vehicles, doing so by vicariously through the people of the state. So I just want to be clear, while the entity is engaging in openly gang stalking right now, they're openly gang stalking when they're sitting in Starbucks buying a cup of Joe. And that's what you're not going to forget. And this is why I put the camera in their faces, not specifically like that. I don't put it in their face, but I want you to see their face. This is why I
capture them because they're gang stalking in the middle of the night, and then they go in Starbucks as though that's separate or as though that's forgotten. Like, you're forgetting about the specific environment. You're forgetting about the creepy demonic environment where they're following me around every day and every night. Like, you forgot about the sun that set over the Starbucks all day long, 8 hours after Corey Watson left, which is a supernatural occurrence. It's the specific environment, and they're stalking day and night in the same specific environment, and then the next day they're at the Starbucks when they're again listening, all of them listening to my documentation, knowing every syllable that I utter, how many times I mention their name, and their obsession with my vagina. And then they go into Starbucks where they know that I'm going, and to sit there and gang stalk me in my face. That's how obsessed with me and my vagina the Ontario Police Department are. And that's why they're using police resources like gassing up vehicles, gassing up helicopters to stalk me. And not only am I telling everyone, I'm prosecuting. You're going to witness the prosecution of a corrupt, demon-infected police department. You're going to watch it be disbanded. That's what's happening when they're engaging in providing evidence against themselves, stalking me right in front of my face, doing so in vehicles, doing so in helicopters, and doing so by being in the path as I'm documenting on an ongoing basis. It's a body of evidence, not just engaging in funsies. They're going to be prosecuted with this. We're going to revisit it. They're going to face it, and it's a pattern of conduct. And also, they're going to realize they don't even have a right to engage in. Well, they know that they don't have a right. They thought that they can engage in it, and no one would know what they're doing. And they also thought that even if someone like myself exposes it, that no one's going to hear me. That's a lie as well. Not only is everyone going to hear me, I'm going to get justice, and it's proving to be criminal surveillance that I have told you that it is. And that's also why they don't have a right to engage in it, and they're going to be disbanded for it. And they're providing evidence, by the way, against Nathan Morgan, C. Torres, L. Martinez, and B. Hook, who were gang stalking on May 29, 2025, as surely as that demon drives by and engineer light sparks on the grass. As surely as that demon is surrounding on the opposite side of my person, where the demons of the Ontario Police are on west of me in vehicles, and this demon is flying east of me in helicopter. That's the Ontario Police surrounding, and they're obsessively stalking me day and night. And the entity engaged in criminal summoning on May 29th, so there's no mistaking. The entity engaged in criminal summoning Tracy Banks and Nathan Morgan, B. Hook, L. Martinez, they're poor liars. And so are the Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. They're poor liars that do not have the support of the law. And my ability to articulate the law, to apply the law to the facts and circumstances, and to hold the demons, the corrupt demons, accountable under the law, and let them know not only where have you erred, but how you're going to be held accountable for unprecedented criminal activity. That's the basis whereby you're going to prosecute the corrupt gang stalking government. The entity is engaging in this and is doing so with a level of impunity and malice that is also intolerable. Okay? The entity is gang stalking with the people of the state, any bum on the street. Anybody, it doesn't matter what level you're at. The dog and the person, they're walking in engineer light. They're monitoring with the police right now. Okay, this is the P.O.C, and that's the significance of being in this environment. And when you're talking about criminal surveillance by the state, you're going to break it down constitutionally. None of them have any right to be here to engage with facilitation, because that's what they're doing, exploiting the Constitution, engaging in public corruption in plain sight. Drive right in front of me if you want, because I'm going to prosecute you with that. Okay, and that is the intellectually impotent demons who are gang stalkers, any sociopath getting past the academy to get onto the Ontario Police Department, and any police department, to be honest with you. And that's what needs to change when I'm showing this level of public corruption, and why there needs to be more implemented with regard to getting onto the police academy, because any immoral, unethical sociopath is able to get into the academy, get past the academy, and engage in what is this very corrupt system, which is embedded into society. Okay, so there's a lack of independent thinking, a lack of people willing to be an individual and do the right thing. That's how you have a whole department. That's how you have a whole city. That's how you have a whole county gang stalking, by the way. That's how you get that. That's how you get it. It's currently 10:42 p.m. This is the evidence prosecuting the people of the state. They're prosecuting the Ontario Police Department. This is serving the case. It's serving the case. Light activity, relevant positioning, audible activity, and impossible light activity while they're doing so. This is the Ontario Police vicariously, and the Ontario Police directly in the police vehicles and in the helicopters, and the City of Ontario using commercial planes stalking over here. There's no terminals where you're flying over 323 West G Street. The entity engaged in criminal summoning in the specific environment is the pattern of conduct. The entities engaging in the P.O.C, and all of it is serving to prosecute the Ontario Police, who will regret, because they're going to be disbanded for kidnapping me. P.O.C. It is currently where the people of the state are patrolling. This is demonic pacing. on G Street, and it's demonic pacing because they're in the specific environment. So this is giving you context regarding the demon possessed and what they're doing when they want to appear as normal people who are not engaging in what is a corporate criminal act. These are the demon possessed, and they're pacing. And while they're driving both east and west, they're molesting my person with impossible light, and that includes the Ontario Police in a vehicle when they're driving from where 636 North Vine Avenue, the 7-Eleven, when they're at G Street and Vine at that location, and I'm at 320 and they haven't approached yet, I'm being accosted with impossible light, just like I documented inside of Starbucks today, where I'm inside of the building and there is no source of light that you can see, but I'm pointing to where my shadow was appearing like flashing of light. This is what the Ontario Police are engaging in concert with the people of the state, and it's currently 10:50 p.m. So this is the demons who are pacing on G Street. As I'm documenting, again, criminal summoning by the Ontario Fire, but by American Medical Response, and by the Ontario Police using helicopters, the Ontario International Airport using planes, and the entity sounding amplified train. Just like it's not a coincidence that they sound that. They're demons, and they're so unintelligent. That's not a coincidence that they sound train when they're listening to me. That's surveillance, and it's also at a volume that you're not going to hear. It's demonic activity in plain view, and also the simultaneity of it. It's demonic activity in plain view. You're witnessing it. That's not a coincidence where I have shadows surrounding me like a deck of cards. But the demons of the Ontario Police are sharing in a sexual violation of myself. This is the entity violating my person. They always want to touch while they're always stalking, and they are doing this while pursuant to monitoring. Remember, the light activity is pursuant to criminal monitoring. The amplified audible activity in the train in Ontario, which this is literally capable of being done in pursuant to a criminal case. You can't hear the train. When you're on the Amtrak train as well, your ears aren't bleeding because it's so loud that it's heard through all out the city of Ontario. I've been on the Amtrak train going to Tucson, Arizona, where they're monitoring, by the way, because the entity had a son in Arizona that's remaining at the same time over 507 North Euclid Avenue at Starbucks. And then when I leave, not staying all day, but the next day when I go to the library, then it's over the library. The entity is gang stalking and targeting, criminal surveillance, in other words, is underway in Arizona. When I did ride Amtrak, and the entity, your ears are not bleeding, you can barely hear the train sounding, but the entity has everywhere in the city of Ontario the sound of train, including inside of Tracy Banks's apartment. All right, this is demonic, and it's pursuant to audible activity. Why is it so ridiculously unintelligent, like the fake sun? Because the demons are just engaging in what is an unintelligent method of noise, an unintelligent method of what is maintaining the specific environment, where you're attributing the light everywhere to the sun. And that's, again, that doesn't even make any sense. And that's why I pointed out to you, because you're subconsciously doing that. When you see the fake sun and you see this engineer light inside of the building, you are also clearly able to see, oh, yeah, because it's obvious. That's not sunlight. And it's impossible that it would appear in that place and in that manner. But the Ontario Police are molesting me while they're pacing. They're being demons. And they're also stalking in that specific environment. But they're literally being demons while I'm being molested with impossible light. And they are at the opposite end of the street. They're doing the exact same thing that the people of the state are doing. And they're doing also that while the entity is stalking in helicopters and stalking by the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Fire Department, and American Medical Response. So I want to document that. These are psychopaths that are up in the middle of the night, and they're all pacing around on Fern, G, Vine, and Euclid, Laurel, and F. Let me see. This is Fern, Laurel, Euclid. They're pacing on all the streets. This isn't traffic. They're all stalking, maintaining activity around me. And this is what's so creepy about the living dead. These are demons. And they're all up stalking. And then this is the reality of their condition. These are the demon possessed that are obsessed with me. But the reality with regard to prosecution, what's relevant in court, it's also relevant that they're demons and that they're exhibiting mental illness. That's how that's going to be addressed. Their demon possession is going to be addressed as mental illness. But their conduct is criminal. It's state action. The government is stalking through the people of the state. And the entity is engaging in this while it is keeping the evidence against itself under surveillance as well. So this is an unprecedented stalker, not only because it's the government, but because the stalker is aware of the documentation, is keeping tabs on the documentation, engages in more stalking activity while the documentation is created. And that's why that stalker, by the way, the Ontario Police is being disbanded. So just want to document that. The Ontario Police molesting my person with impossible light while they exhibit demon possession. And you need to know that Corey Watson is a demon. And he's exhibiting that while he's in the cafe this morning on video under a fake sun. He's He's not different from the rest of the demons who are the people of the state. And that's also why the Ontario Police is being disbanded. Not only are they not exercising a religious right while they're demon possessed, they're engaging in criminal activity, and their demon possession is evident thereby. The entity is engaging in this public corruption with the people of the state. The entity is engaging in what is ongoing terrorism while being in that role, while an American citizen, that is myself, is exposing it, and they engage in more psychopathic and maniacal criminal conduct. That's why they're being disbanded, because of the level of corruption and the level of an unlawful threat posed by the entire police department. Mike LORENZ, and before him, Derek Williams, and the demon before him. The entity has been gang stalking in the city of Ontario for decades. Paul Leon has been in office for 20 years. So at least 20 years, the entity has been engaging in criminal monitoring, and it's satanic. All right. The entity is engaging in this with impunity, and doing so, again, 10:55 p.m. is audible activity. It's the same thing with the plane. It's the same thing with the sirens. It's the same thing with the helicopter. And it's an unintelligent means of maintaining noise while demons are pacing all around on G Street, Euclid, Laurel, Fern, and Vine. And that includes the Ontario Police Department. Okay. This is P.O.C. Here's the Ontario International Airport flying over 323 West G Street. This is Alan D. Wapner. He is the demon that's over the airport authority. The airport authority knows that demons are engaging in criminal monitoring, targeting, using commercial airline planes to engage in stalking. There are no takeoffs from Terminal 2 and Terminal 4. They only have 2 terminals at the airport. And at 2900 Airport Road, there's no terminal where you are taking off clearly from at a sharp trajectory upward from the airports, from those terminals, to be over 323 West G Street, where I'm facing, hovering over this house as though you're taking off here. It's a highly unintelligent system that the entity has. And they were woefully unprepared, never prepared for a common sense scrutiny and also a prosecution for it. Okay. And the entity is also going to be handing over, it's called production and a prosecution. They're going to be producing the evidence of how they operate their businesses and how they operate the airport and who's flying what, when, and where, because they're going to prison. All right. It is currently 10:57 p.m. This is P.O.C. gang stalking by the demon possessed, the living dead that are up in the middle of the night stalking me. And you need to understand, when I'm documenting bathroom monitoring, these demons that are stalking with light, these are the demons that are stalking me in the bathroom. All right. They are psychos. They don't sleep. They're engaged in obsessing over me, and I don't know anything about why they're obsessed with me, other than the fact that I know that they're demon possessed, and the demon possessed are very fearful of that. And the demon possessed are also very psychopathic. Mental illness is inspired by spirit. Okay, so this demonic spirit that is in all of them, which is inspiring their obsession with me, is the reason why also you know that it is demonic as well, because of the entity engaging in it as a population that's targeting me together. And it's not like I'm some celebrity. It's not like I've introduced myself. Hey, look at me, follow me. It's not like I'm on social media saying follow me or anything like that. The entity was following me, and I created a social media account in order to expose it, because who do you report the crime to when the police are the criminal? Okay, so this is forcing my hand. The entity's engaging in the pattern of conduct, and it's also a part of necessity. You widely expose and embarrass the government that's engaging in gang stalking. You shame them, and they're going to regret it. They're going to be embarrassed by it, and they're also going to be prosecuted for it. It's currently, and they're already embarrassed by it. That's why they keep trying to make my documentation on YouTube private. When I publish the podcast, they're very embarrassed. The podcast on June 11, 2025, I keep making it public. They keep making it private. Never mind that, though. I've published a version of the same identical version, one that they can't make through the RSS feed, render it private. That's federal stalking, by the way. That's criminal activity. I will be prosecuting for it. It's obstruction of justice. I will be prosecuting for it. But the entity is very much embarrassed. And it's also not just embarrassment, it's damning evidence. When you listen to what it is that I'm speaking, what the details that I include, everything is relevant. I don't expect everybody that's listening to understand and connect all those dots, but I'm speaking some very damning evidence that the entity does not want to be heard. And that's relevant to prosecuting these demons who know that they're being documented, and they're on the venue of the internet, both embarrassed and seeking to obstruct justice by trying to make it inaccessible to the public. That's not stopping a case. It's not stopping a case. And in fact, that's enhancing the prosecution. It is in furtherance of what is disbanding the gang stalking Ontario Police Department. And that's just the name. They're not a police department. For me to document them stalking me day and night, and that's exactly what it is, in the specific environment. It's not just the fact that them following me around everywhere. They're following around in a specific environment, and it's in conformity to a pattern of conduct by multiple other police departments. Fontana Police Department, the Chino Police Department, the Pasadena Police Department, the Arcadia Police Department, the Monrovia Police Department, the Montclair Police Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Okay, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. You can pick anyone, because I've documented them. The Ontario Police Department, they're done. They are finito. They're going to prison and they're being disbanded. All right, it is currently 11 p.m. where the entity is stalking in planes, helicopters, and through the Ontario Police Department vehicles. And this is the criminal abuse, the misuse of government equipment. They're using fire trucks, criminal surveillance, ambulances for criminal surveillance. They're using police helicopters for criminal surveillance, and police vehicles for criminal surveillance, criminal activity. Any way that you flip this, Ontario police are being disbanded. This is P.O.C.